The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
All signs point to Aaron Glenn being the next head coach of the Jets. We'll give you the latest reports on both Glenn and GM candidate Lance Newmark. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Who's the coach? Who's the GM? Who's the quarterback? At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, Jets fans. Welcome in, everybody. Click that like button, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. Thanks again to everyone who helped us reach 41,000 subscribers during yesterday's morning stream. We have a great guest set to join us. Before we do that, fun announcement I want to share to try and be some, bring some positivity to the channel this morning. This show for the second straight year will be live from Radio Row in New Orleans in just a few short days. 11 days from now, we'll be live at the Super Bowl. A bunch of huge guests will join us, as that's what happened last year. When I went as a radio host, I'd always have some big names. Last year, if you guys remember, we had CJ Mosley on the show. We had Lejay Douzable on the show, Santonio Holmes on the show, Brian Urlacher, Luke Kuechly. We had a ton of huge names. Emmitt Smith. I'm going to forget a bunch. But we're going back to the Super Bowl again this year. And I've already locked in at least one current Jet player that will be joining us that week. So stay tuned for more info on that. But we'll be live every day the week of the Super Bowl from Radio Row in New Orleans. So thanks to the Asmaniacs for the support, for making it all possible. And if you're a business owner, we do have some sponsorship packages still available for Radio Row week if you want your brand to get major exposure from the big game. Joining us right now is, when it comes to the Jets, when it comes to passion, when it comes to just knowledge, I don't know if there's a better guest. The great Dom C joins the program this morning. What's up, Dom?
Nah, that's a great intro, Jake. I don't know about that, but I'll take it. My ego feels good.
So we got a lot to get into. All signs point to Aaron Glenn getting this job. And look, he's going to interview today, but it doesn't even truly feel like it's an interview. It feels like it's more of a, hey, let's meet everyone in person, make sure it goes well. The Jets want him. He seemingly wants them, and I would be shocked if Aaron Glenn is not named the head coach. I think the only question is, does it happen today, or do we get an official announcement at some time tomorrow?
Yeah, that's where it's leaning. You finally, after this long drawn out process of 40 plus interviews between GM and head coach, you get one head coach and one GM second interviews on the docket. They happen to be on the same day, and they happen to have worked together and have us, have a relationship and synergy. So I guess we can read between the lines. It looks like this is the way they want to go. And we'll see what happens. Listen, I've been pretty adamant, like it's not the way I would have went. But as a Jets fan, I'm going to root for it and hope that, my intuition is wrong.
Yep. Look, I did not want a first-time coach. If they were going to hire a first-time coach, I wanted it to be an offensive guy. Aaron Glenn might be awesome. I hope he is, but I have a lot of concerns with this hire. He's clearly a qualified candidate. He's a former Jet. He wants this job. There's a lot of things to like, but it's not, the hire I would have made. I of the candidates they spoke to that were left, Brian Flores to me made a lot of sense because of his New York ties, previous head coaching experience, all that. And if they were going to try an offensive guy, McCown, Joe Brady, who they still haven't spoken to. So I was intrigued by that. And, I'll repeat what I said yesterday. My frustration is more due to the fact of some of the candidates they didn't speak to. Like, to not even interview Mike McCarthy infuriates me. I'm going to be straight up and honest.
Yeah, that one's a little peculiar. I'm not gonna lie. And in regards to the other guys, the other big names that were available and free agents and met with other teams, the Kingsburys, the Ben Johnsons, the Liam Cohens of the world, even Joe Brady, Todd Monken. It looks like they all told us to go scratch. And realistically, I think that's a tough pill to swallow as a Jets fan, and hopefully someone in the higher ups, whether it's Woody, Chris, Jaime, whoever it is, realizes that there's a big problem that some of these guys don't even want to entertain an interview with you. So yeah, to your point, I would have much rather moved forward with taking a shot on one of these younger, more innovative, forward-thinking offensive minds, even if it was a year early. You see, you just see the way that the NFL is working now, and the KOCs and the McVays of the world. Hell, even Andy Reid, when he was hired as a head coach, people took a chance on him. Philly took a chance on him as a quarterback's coach to head coach. And sometimes you gotta roll the dice. To me, again, like you said, Jake, I don't think Aaron Glenn's he's qualified, and I don't think he's going to be a bad head coach. I just don't know if right here, right now, this was the fit that I would have said is like a match made in heaven. Try something different, go the other way. We're going to have to develop a quarterback in the near future. So I'd rather have, that offensive scheme and stability at the top. So you don't have to worry about bringing in, you don't have to worry about a coordinator that might be, through the roof, leaving in 2 years or something like that, and then starting this whole process over. That's my whole take on it. Again, as a Jets fan, if it's Aaron Glenn, I'm going to still watch. I'm still going to root, and I'm going to hope that like my gut instinct is wrong.
I think if you're someone who's not on board, that is obviously, the way to go about it. I don't understand anyone in the fan base who would be rooting against Aaron Glenn. First off, the guy was an awesome Jet, and he wants this job. So, I want him to do well for obviously every diehard Jet fan out there that is long-suffering and deserves it. It's interesting because it feels like it's more like Aaron Glenn picking the GM. So another issue I have with this whole thing is we're going to have a first-time GM with a first-time head coach. My hope is that there's going to be someone above Newmark or hired with Lance Newmark, if that's who's going to end up being the GM here. Because once again, it's first-timers being thrown into the wolves here in New York with the playoff drought at 14 years and this fan base rightfully livid. What are your thoughts on Lance Newmark and the pairing of him and Glenn together?
Listen, I don't know much about Lance Newmark, and I can say the same thing for most of these GM candidates. I know what I hear and what I read and so on and so forth as much as anybody else. I will say this: I do like the idea. If you want to spin this positively, like there definitely was some synergy between he and Glenn. There definitely was some synergy between Lance Newmark and Ben Johnson. And the rumors are, and that's, I don't claim to have, inside knowledge of this, but it was clear and it's been made evident that Ben Johnson wanted to bring Lance Newmark with him as the GM if he went over to the Raiders. And, he chose to go to the Bears. Where they have already Ryan Poles is in place there. So that didn't work. So I like the idea that there's synergy. And this isn't a real forced, marriage per se. I know a lot of people are saying it's uninspiring. I don't know if there was a GM that I would have been, not named Howie Roseman, that I would have been just absolutely floored with. Because to me, I don't know enough about them. I will say he was handpicked by Adam Peters. Peters is well respected and a really, really good up and coming mind in the NFL. So everyone that I do know who has some connections to the Commanders or Commanders fans will, are saying the same things, that it's a real good get. So I'm going to, see how that plays out. If you can say anything that's positive, it's that there's a relationship and a synergy and they wanted to be together. So I don't know if it's necessary Glenn picking Newmark. Maybe he suggested that that's who it would be. Maybe if they were going to go with two first timers, they wanted the, Woody and the brain trust at the 33rd team wanted to make sure that there was a relationship and some synergy. So you're not just putting this arranged marriage together.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, you want those guys to be on the same page because that's super important. And we've seen other examples of this around the league when guys are on the same page, like in Buffalo with Bean, the GM there, and McDermott. It's worked. And, that's ultimately what you're trying to do. But you look at Lance Newmark's resume, it's so tough to know what he actually did. We know he's been with the Lions for a very long time. Most of that time, the team wasn't any good. But what was he doing then? How much say did he have? Obviously, it turned around for the Lions the last several years when Dan Campbell got there with Brad Holmes and Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, a huge part of that too. So we don't know. I just hope that there's someone else coming with Lance Newmark because I don't understand the thought process behind interviewing 15 guys for the GM role if you're only just going to make one GM hire at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, the whole process was kind of a sham, if you ask me. I mean, and listen, not my money, I wasn't involved in it, but I think anybody in your chat right now probably could have looked at the group of available head coach candidates and kind of earmarked Aaron Glenn as a fit. So tell me what the 33rd team did that was so special. I don't know. Again, that's from a very high surface level stuff. I wasn't involved in it, so on and so forth. But the whole process was long and drawn out just to really come to a conclusion that any relative, average Jets fan probably could have identified.
We're talking with Dom C, talking Jets analyst, project prospect with Dom C. We'll do some draft stuff with Dom towards the end of the conversation here. So if you have a question for Dom about a Senior Bowl prospect or anything draft related, definitely write it in. I get asked about the draft all the time, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't study tape year round like Dom does. So Dom will be joining us a lot on our channel once we get closer to draft season. He'll be at the Senior Bowl next week. So if you have any questions on that, super chat it in. Hit the like button if you're watching live. Click the subscribe button as well. And look, I don't love Aaron Glenn as the head coach, but I'm going to support him. I'm on board, and I already bought this for someone to win. A signed Aaron Glenn trading card with his Jet uniform fully on. So if you want this, gift the membership, and this will be one of our prizes in next week's Asmaniac raffle. The grand prize, a Garrett Wilson signed jersey. Second place prize, a Breece Hall signed trading card with the jersey patch on the card, which is awesome. And third place, Aaron Glenn authenticated signed trading card, because once again, all signs point to Glenn being the next head coach of the NYJ. I mean, Ian Rappaport went as far to say that the Jets meeting with him today with the goal is to, quote, keep him from leaving the building. He has a scheduled interview with the Saints tomorrow. I think that's a leverage play. I don't think he wants to do that interview. I don't think the Jets want him to do that interview. So I think this could get done, maybe by the time we're done with the show and we end the show and I got to go live again for another breaking news show. It just feels like, barring anything last second here, he's the guy they want. And, as long as Newmark doesn't bomb this interview today, he's there right now, according to Josina Anderson, I think he's going to be the guy that will work with Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, I would say tomorrow morning is probably the absolute floor of when we're going to hear this get done. It could be one of the things like Saleh, they let Saleh leave the building. He's on his way, scheduled to meet tomorrow in Philly. And then all of a sudden by, first thing, 8 a.m. the next morning, Saleh has signed, Saleh agreed and Saleh signed. So, yeah, that's what it's looking like, Jake. Again, not the way I would have went, but I'm gonna see what happens. I think at this point, the staff that he brings along is the more vital piece to this all than Newmark or whatever GM is going to align with Glenn. To me, that's more important. Like, all right, we're banging down the drum of another first-time head coach from the defensive side of the ball, like we did with Rex, like we did with Bowles, like we did with Saleh. Show me how the offense is going to be prioritized and where that focus is going to be and who's going to be coaching those guys. That, I think, is now of paramount importance to this hiring or possible hiring.
Let's be real. Aaron Glenn, we know he can coach defense. He says he's going to be a leader of men, but ultimately he needs to get his offensive coordinator selection right. That's how some of the other defensive coaches in the league are able to have success. That's how Sean McDermott's able to have success. He was able to find Brian Dable, and then he was able to find, after that, a pivot eventually to Joe Brady. Like the top teams, like Dan Quinn, Commanders head coach, he's a defensive guy, but he hired Cliff Kingsbury. So you got to be able to hire a really good staff, and that also includes an offensive line coach, because I
Mhm.
believe this team is as poorly coached on the offensive line as any team in football. So, the offensive staff is going to be huge. It could work. I just feel like if you're the Jets, why not try and bring in someone with previous coaching experience? They're going with Aaron Glenn. They're going to sell you on him being ready to be a head coach, knows the organization, knows the media market, Parcells guy. There are things to like about Glenn. But to your point, it's going to come down to what his coaching staff looks like. And if you start to connect the dots to some of the names on that staff, I'm going to skip ahead to the super chat from John because it ties into what we're going to talk about.
Mhm.
Steve Wilks has been floated out there as a
Yeah.
name to watch for Aaron Glenn's DC. And I'll tell you what, that would be a good hire. He's been a head coach before. He's been an interim head coach before. He's been a successful defensive coach in this league for a long time. I
Yeah.
want experience on this staff if we're going to go with a first timer. And Steve Wilks would be a good hire to me. I like that name if that ends up being the case.
Yeah, Steve Wilks is an interesting name. He's coordinated a bunch in the NFL. I think he was with I know he was with Carolina. He was with San Francisco. He put together top 10 defenses year after year, and the interesting thing is, a lot of the stuff that, we were pining for Saleh and Ulbrich to do, I think Steve Wilks is going to do it. Like, his scheme, although it's multiple, it's 4-3, 4-3 base is probably the way he's going to go. At least that's how he ran in San Francisco and Carolina. But he does a lot of disguised coverages. He does a lot of trying to confuse or give false reads to the quarterback pre-snap and show something else post-snap. Expect a really big focus, whether it be through the draft or free agency, on shoring up and having smart, heady players on the back end of the defense. He likes his cornerbacks tall and long. This guy, he was credited for being there when Cromartie came up with the Chargers as well. So those are the type of cornerbacks that he likes. Safeties have all been an important and integral part in Steve Wilks' defenses. And outside of the cornerbacks, the safeties is something that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh really, I'm not going to say disregarded, but just wasn't a priority. In their scheme, they were, secondary or tertiary options. I think that's going to be a different focus here. They use their defensive backs in those simulated pressures. They use them as blitzers and as decoys. And the one thing that I know a lot of Jets fans have been really pining for, Steve Wilks always has his best cornerback shadow the best receiver. So if Sauce is on this team, which I fully expect him to do, maybe he gets the chance to finally travel with the number ones.
Yep, that does excite me. Story Lynn with a super chat here. He got exposed Saturday. Saleh part 2, don't hire. Let me say this. I did not want Aaron Glenn as my number one choice, but I'm not going to base that on anything that had something to do with the game on Saturday. Dan Quinn's defense got torched by Jordan Love in his last game as the Cowboys DC. How's it working out for the Commanders? It's a completely different job, and I don't think Aaron Glenn's going to be calling the defense for the Jets. I think it would be Steve Wilks in this scenario we were just talking about. So can you be a leader of men? Can you change the culture? Can you hold guys accountable? That is the job of Aaron Glenn, not to be the defensive mastermind, because Robert Saleh was a phenomenal defensive coach, and it didn't work. You need to be a head coach. That's what Aaron Glenn's hopefully being hired to do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that. And listen, everyone's going to, like I said, as they should be, the focus is going to be on who's going to run the offense, who's the offensive staff is going to be. This Jets defense is going to need an overhaul, like it or not. I mean, we're replacing 5 or 6 starters, and we're going to have to replace 5 or 6 starters or bring back 5 or 6 starters, and then a ton of depth, all at all 3 levels. Not only the defensive line, but the linebackers and the back of the defense as well. So there's a big transition coming for the Jets right now on the defensive side of the ball. So maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe they saw that as the more important or prioritize that as a need for this team. And listen, you look at, I forget the one game, but you look at Glenn's overall history. I mean, his defenses were average. He didn't have a top 10 defense. His ideals really differ from the scheme that we ran here. So maybe bringing in Wilkes is a good happy median to the two. So I like Wilkes if he comes along. I like the fact that he's been a head coach. I like that you have some experience with a head coach. I think that's important. So
let's rapid fire through some super chats here, and then we will get to some calls. Cincy Matt writes in, I've missed a lot of the shows recently, but I got to say, to not even interview Mike McCarthy is a total fumble. He's the only slam dunk candidate in this cycle, in my opinion. Look, if McCarthy told them no, that'd be one thing. I don't think that's the case, especially now with Chicago no longer an option. It feels like it's New Orleans or bust for McCarthy, or he may never be a head coach again. So the idea he wouldn't at least talk to the Jets, even for leverage purposes, I'm not buying it. I think it's a huge miscalculation by the Jets to not even have the conversation with the guy.
Yeah, and the rumor is, and I've heard this from pretty solid, reputable sources, is that McCarthy wasn't going to turn down an interview. He wasn't doing what Liam Cohn and Joe Brady and Ben Johnson. He wasn't being picky. He would have interviewed. And it seems to me, at least on the surface level, that the Jets weren't interested, which I find confusing.
Remember, they did a lot of work on him in 2019, and they weren't impressed, so they hired Adam Gase.
And maybe this has to do with Rodgers, and the way I'm reading those tea leaves, if they weren't interested in McCarthy, they didn't want McCarthy to influence maybe keeping Rodgers here for a little bit. Like I have a feeling, I have a stronger feeling today than I did before that we've seen the end of the Aaron Rodgers era.
I hope not. I don't know what to think about Rodgers, because I also could see the scenario where Aaron Glenn might want him. He might be like, he gives us our best chance. I think with the right coaching, I could get the most out of him, and we could be a good team if I coach the whole rest of the team and Aaron gives us our best chance.
Yeah,
I can see both sides of it. I'm very curious at the press conference when he's asked about Rodgers, what his answer is going to be to that.
Yep. We'll see what happens there.
Jason says, did we set the record for head coach and GM interviews? Serious question.
Chicago interviewed more head coaches than us. The combination, though, is a different story.
Yeah, we interviewed more GM candidates than anyone ever, I'd imagine. 15 official interviews? Crazy.
Yeah.
Philly Noodle says, Dom, is Tyler Warren in the Senior Bowl? Also, would you trade down and acquire a pick and select him to add a weapon if we lose Devontae Adams? Hit the like button. Philly, thank you. All right, a little draft Senior Bowl-esque question for Philly here. Go ahead, Dom.
Tyler Warren is not at the Senior Bowl. There are a slew of good tight end prospects that will be there, including Harold Fannin Jr. and Gunnar Helm, Mason Taylor, Jason Taylor's son, Elijah Arroyo from Miami. So it's a really good tight end class in general. Sure, would I love Tyler Warren? I absolutely would. Trading down to acquire a pick is always something that people want to do. The problem is that there's got to be somebody that teams want to trade up for. I just, this being a very, very light, non-inspiring quarterback class, there's probably not going to be somebody that's pinpointed, that barring somebody like one of the two quarterbacks or Abdul Carter falling to 7, that people are going to really want to trade up for. And to me, if Abdul Carter's on the board, you don't even entertain a trade back. You just sit there and take the pick. So, I'm all for trading back and acquiring more capital, but there's got to be somebody that on the board that team's going to want to trade up for. And that's what I don't see necessarily true.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first person to drop membership gifts is Jet Life with 10 Jake Asman memberships gifted, baby.
Free stuff.
10 raffle entries for Jet Life for a chance to win the signed, authenticated Garrett Wilson number 17 jersey. Throwback jersey, I guess, technically. The signed Aaron Glenn authenticated trading card and the signed Breece Hall jersey patch trading card. Thank you to Jet Life. Asmaniac raffle, baby. Get on board.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Hirsch Parker, Dre Day, Jet Fan, Notorious TBG, Sony the One Trick Pony, Joseph Rodriguez, NYJ Dave, Christian A, Kevin Tattoos, Hunter Hadzicki, Vinny Ferro, all receiving channel memberships. Congrats to all our new members. Let's get to more of your super chats, and then I want to dive into more on some names I'm hearing about Aaron Glenn's possible staff, assuming this goes well today and he ends up being the guy. Jet Carpetbagger writes in, Aaron Glenn is like Robert Saleh all over again. Could he be Obrick all over again? Hate to be negative, but feels like this is a joke. Look, the Jets have not earned the benefit of the doubt. I do want to say this, though. Aaron Glenn is a good candidate. Like, there's other teams that were interested in him. This is not like hiring Adam Gase and you were the only franchise that was going to do that. I understand every Jet fan who doesn't love another first-timer with a defensive background. You have to hope that Aaron Glenn can have success like Rex Ryan did, like Herm Edwards did. Mangini even made the playoffs in year one. So you have to hope that, these guys are Aaron Glenn, who knows the organization, wants this job, has basically had every role you could have in pro football, from a player to a scout to a quality control assistant to a DB coach to a defensive coordinator. You have to hope that he has what it takes to be, that CEO type of coach, what Mike Tomlin is, what John Harbaugh is, what Mike Vrabel is. Like, that's what you're projecting Aaron Glenn to be as a defensive first guy.
Yeah, and that's what Saleh was pegged to be too, and didn't work out too well.
No, it did not. Unfortunately. John, what's your thoughts on the report, Steve? Oh, we already read that one. Yep, we both, Dom and I, like it. Ricky says, let's effing go Glenn. Doubters deal with it. Ricky was leading the Aaron Glenn to the Jet Coalition months ago, so he's happy. And look, Ricky, I hope it works, man. I really do. Bo says, I feel like Glenn/Newark's a lock at this point. I'm focusing on best possible OC available. Who do you think the best candidates for that are? Dom, any thoughts on Aaron Glenn's potential offensive coordinator?
I have no idea, and I'm being honest. I don't know. With both coordinators leaving Detroit, you figure that some of the guys are going to be poached. I don't know if they're, maybe out of respect to the Lions and Dan Campbell, they won't take everybody. But and listen, this is just a guess here. I'm assuming that the offensive guys will probably, if any of them get poached, they'll probably go with Johnson, and any of the defensive guys will probably follow Glenn. Hank Fraley has been getting some love. He's the run game coordinator and the offensive line coach for Detroit. I know he interviewed for the OC job in Seattle. He's an interesting one just because of how, well coached and how developed that offensive line going. Can he call a game? I don't know. And then you try to think, you think about his ties when he was in New Orleans, and could he lean on Sean Payton for some advice or recommendations? I know Johnny Morton is a guy that people are automatically linking to him. I don't know. Johnny Morton's been a coach in this league for so long, and haven't we gone down that road with him before? I would love, and again, this is maybe a little bit out there because it's first time head coach, first time GM, but there's a buzz about quarterback coach Davis Webb out in Denver. Maybe Sean Payton recommends him and he brings him along. Like, that's he's been instrumental in getting making Bo Nix into what Bo Nix is, him and Payton combined. So again, these are just darts I'm throwing. I'm trying to connect dots here that really aren't there. But as for veteran guys, I have no idea.
Dollar Bills writes in, nothing will ever work for the Jets. Dollar Bills, go Chiefs, you're gone.
F you. F you. F you too.
We'll see you later. All right, more super chats here. This one's from Anthony. He says, name one GM that is good and not a first-timer. Even with the head coaching position, the knock on the first-timer is overrated. I disagree. If they hire Thomas Dimitroff, who's been to a Super Bowl as a GM, hired 2 head coaches that made the playoffs, had a lot of success in Atlanta. If you told me he was the GM with a first-time coach, I would like the Aaron Glenn hiring a lot more. What I didn't want was 2 first-timers in these roles. And not only is it 2 first-timers in these roles, Glenn's a defensive guy. So if they were going to do the first-time thing, really wanted it to be an offensive guy. And look, Aaron Glenn's a good candidate. I hope it works. But I just feel like the Jets reportedly didn't want to be risk-adverse during this. Well, I feel like they're taking huge risks with these hires.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're banking on. Like I said, you're beating the same drum that we've beaten for the past 15 years without success. Could this be different? It absolutely could, but it's hard to outside of that mustard seed of blind faith, it's hard to have anything more than that, until it proves. Listen, you could have hired Andy Reid for the head coaching job and it not worked out. Sure, anything can happen, but just like the same thing over and over and over. And really, buying into this time's going to be different. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We have a ton of people tuned in today. We will go live as soon as anything with Aaron Glenn does become official, or Lance Newmark, so be ready for that. 830 of you are watching live as we talk with Dom C. Click the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We hit over 41,000 subscribers yesterday. This is the largest following on YouTube for Jet content, so make sure you keep it that way. Subscribe and continue to watch us day in, day out. Bang Mateo writes in, aside from leader of men cliche, what does Glenn bring? I mean, let's not act like he's not a strong defensive coach. I mean, the guy did a lot with little for a lot of this year. Players love him. They respect him. Great leader. Like, that's not a cliche. Like, being a leader is a huge part of being the head coach, especially the head coach of a franchise like the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I will say this. It seems if you follow and what happens in, socials and the Jets' current players, for what they're, saying or what they're liking or so on and so forth, they seem to be all in on Aaron Glenn. So, the fact that he was a former player, I think will hold a little higher regard for,
it's like
for some of these
D'Amico
guys.
going to Houston. It's very similar.
Yeah. I think I think it'll be an easy chance to kind of have the players and the locker room to win them over and have them buy in. I think that's definitely a positive.
Yeah. It's we'll see. Big fella, if we hire Glenn today, I'll give 50 memberships.
Wow.
Really? 50 memberships, big fella? You wanted Glenn that badly. Look, I'm a capitalist, so I'm in. But this stuns me. But hey, I appreciate the support. Joshua with a $10 super chat. I'll fully buy in if I see this new regime focus on offense this offseason. So when we draft a rookie in 2026, he'll be set up for success, build defense through late round picks and smart free agent signings. Dom, as someone who knows the draft and knows team building very well, your thoughts on this take from Joshua?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, on surface, it sounds like a great plan. But as I intimated to before, we are so numb or so blind to the idea of like an up-to-date, innovative, functional offense. It seems like we haven't had one for so long.
Those exist.
As we battled through, Martini Nate and the Zach Wilson era and then the struggles with Sam, this, that, and the other thing. So I know that is the focus. And yes, I agree with the fact that we're going to have somebody here that can help develop a young quarterback. I mean, assuming that's the route they're going to go, if not this year, in the next year or two to come, but don't discard the fact that we have a humongous task ahead of us in rebuilding the defense, and I'm not an advocate for it. And I'm going to say this, I'm not an advocate for it, but this might be the best, perfect spot to really in the draft, really take best player available, down, right straight down the board. The talent is not so heavy at the top. I think they're the meat and potatoes of this draft. The good value is going to be rounds 2, 3, and 4. So you can just let everything fall to you and take the best player available. And we have enough holes that we're going to be able to fill that stuff with those guys. So yeah, listen, I don't know how much money we're going to have in free agency. So I don't know how, high up the ladder you're going to go. I expect there to be a strong, a strong push, whether through draft free agency or both, for the safety room and the cornerbacks room. I think that's going to be a big push, especially if Wilkes is put in. But yeah, I mean, we need offensive help. We need weapons, right? If Adams doesn't stay, your wide receiver room right now is Garrett Wilson and Malachi Corley and Irv Charles. Actually, I don't even think I think his contract has expired. So what I mean, there's definitely need. The tight end room right now is Jeremy Ruckert and Zach Kuntz.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got a lot to consider, because that's part of the reason why you could argue Rodgers coming back makes sense, because then you're getting Devontae back too in that scenario. So that's all part of it. Justin writes in, I want Byron Leftwich as the OC. I don't know. enough about Byron Leftwich and his
Yeah, me
relationship
neither.
with Aaron Glenn.
He's been out of the league for a while, so I'm not sure about that one. Can't say. I don't know.
Here are some names that I've been able to put together for Aaron Glenn's OC.
Okay.
Joe Lombardi, former New Orleans quarterback coach with the Lions as an OC previously.
He's the OC now in Denver, correct?
He is the OC in Denver, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know if Sean Payton would let him leave. That's the thing.
Are you unhitching your wagon off of Sean Payton and the bone and establish, look like on the rise Bo Nix? I'm not.
Probably not. But you'd get to call plays would be the only argument. It's like you actually get to be a play caller.
Fair.
Pete Carmichael, who's also on that Broncos staff, he's a senior offensive assistant, former New Orleans OC, overlap with Glenn. John Morton, you brought up already. He's been the OC of the Jets, and quite honestly, he was pretty good that 1 year with Josh McCown, all things considered. So those are some names there. I mean, obviously, I could throw out, Mark Brunell, who's the quarterback coach of the Lions. Is he ready to be an OC? But the other thing we need to figure out, Ben Johnson, who's he taking with from the Lions? Who's he taking with him? And Dan Campbell's not just going to be like, raid my staff. He's going to have to replace his two coordinators. So, these are all questions you have about a potential coaching staff for Aaron Glenn, which is more important than him being the head coach. Because Robert Saleh, he kind of held the team together. Like, they won 7 games with Zach Wilson at quarterback and Tim Boyle at quarterback in 2023. And then Saleh got fired, and we saw this entire team get exposed, and the demise was expedited. Like, Aaron Glenn might be awesome, but he's got to be able to hire a good staff because that's what dooms Robert Saleh,
Yeah, and like I said, if the what's being reported by Josina Anderson and there's a connection between Steve Wilkes and Aaron Glenn, I think that would be a good hire. I think it's one that checks a lot of boxes off. But again, we need to see what happens on the offensive side of the ball as well. And some of the positional coaches, I would prioritize a really good, strong offensive line coach here, because the past 2 years that we've had with with Carter has just been abysmal. We need to kind of reset that, and maybe we'll get to an opportunity to develop some of these guys that have just stalled under Keith Carter and see maybe get something out of Max Mitchell or Carter Warren.
25 writes in, Glenn guys will rise today. Is that what the Aaron Glenn supporters are called? Glenn guys? Is that what we're going with? All right. Here for the memes. I don't like hiring Glenn without a GM. I wonder if it's semantics that they're going to hire Newmark technically first, so they could say we hired the GM first and we asked him who he wanted to work with. You know what I mean? Either way, let's be real. Lance Newmark is not the Jets GM unless Aaron Glenn is on board with that.
Yeah, and maybe vice versa. Right? I mean, same thing. Maybe they came as a package. Listen, we don't know anything. Maybe this has been in the works for a while, and they just waited till Detroit was eliminated to make it official. You know what I mean? Which would paint a bad picture into this whole deep dive into finding the right guy that the 33rd team kind of put forward for us. But who knows?
Jetaholic. Jets hire Glenn and Newmark 5 minutes after the show. -500. Oh, bet, Jetaholic. That always happens. Purple Belt Mike with his free Asmaniac super chat because he's a channel member for 7 months. Jackson Dart by any means necessary. Take him at 7. I don't care. We miss out on Dart, and it's Marino or Josh Allen all over again. We could get a DT or a tight end later. Mike, I have no idea why you're obsessed with Jackson Dart. Dom, you study all the quarterbacks. Your thoughts on Jackson Dart as not just a prospect, but a top 7 in the draft prospect?
Listen, he has been the most interesting and polarizing name that I've seen out of all the quarterbacks in this class so far. There is legit buzz that he could be a first-round guy. I don't have he didn't grade out as a first round guy for me. But in fairness, after Shador and Cam Ward, or however you have those two, everything else is just a clusterfuck or a dart throw of who's the next best guy. So, Dart's definitely got some positives. He's got a good build. He's got a plus arm. He plays with moxie. He can throw, and his receivers ran full route trees, so he can make every throw. I like the fact that he's sneaky athletic. He's got like that Daniel Jones athleticism. Like you don't think he's going to be very athletic, but he can burn you. I'm not going to say he's necessarily dual threat. He's slippery. I guess that's a good word to say. You know, he's got some, you know, he does a good job maneuvering and moving around the pocket, so on and so forth. The big problem is I just don't think that Jackson Dart is ready to be handed the keys to the castle. Like his mechanics really need to be kind of overhauled, especially his lower body. You know, the lower body from the ground up and the hips and the shoulders don't move in sync and in unison. And that really causes accuracy issues. It really takes some, you know, he's got a good arm, but he could have a really good arm if, you know, if he followed the, you know, if his mechanics got worked out. So I think he's a guy along the lines of Jordan Love, where you need to kind of sit, you need to break down his mechanics from the ground up, and then there's a chance that he turns into something really good. Now, at 7, are you willing to do that? I don't know. You know, if you told me that you had a solidified bridge quarterback in here that's going to be here for 2 or 3 years for sure, then yeah, you want to roll the dice. I still think it's a little rich. But you know, that's where I see Jackson Dart. There's a lot of people I know in the scouting world that really like Dart and are pretty sure he's going to be a first rounder. Jake, you know, quarterbacks always get bumped up, so they don't have to have a first round grade. Quarterbacks don't necessarily, players don't have to have a first round grade to go in the first round, but the quarterbacks get pushed up even that more, especially in a very lackluster or weak quarterback class such as this.
If you want to advertise on the show, sponsorship packages are available here in 2025. Just shoot me an email, asmanjake@gmail.com. If you missed the announcement earlier, we're headed back to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, baby. I'll be live from Radio Row all week long, and we have some exciting sponsorship packages available for that as well. So shoot me an email, asmanjake@gmail, and I will connect you with my marketing reps, and we will work on something awesome for your brand or business. Once again, asmanjake@gmail.com. Luppy with a super chat. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Welcome to Woody's world. Welcome to Woody's world. Yeah.
I can't tell any Jet fan who feels this way not to feel that way, because I agree. I just hope that Aaron Glenn is different. You know, there's 2 of the 4 coaches left are defensive coaches. You got to figure out the offensive staff and quarterback. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly what it is. Listen, until the ink is dry and on paper, we don't know if Aaron Glenn's for sure going to be the guy. But, I mean, if I had to bet my mortgage on it, it looks like it's leaning that way. So the next and most important part is let's see what the staff is going to be built like around him.
WD checks in. Just extended the suffering. Absolutely brutal. We have to relive this again. Rest of the AFC East rejoices. All right. I mean, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, listen, I'll say this, and this is not anti-Aaron Glenn, because as I said, I'm not anti-Aaron Glenn. I'm just anti-Aaron Glenn as a fit right here, right now for these Jets. But I don't think this is disrespectful in saying, like, if Aaron Glenn's a hire, he's automatically the worst coach in the division. I mean, Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, you know, people have their warts on him, but, you know, he's brought his team to the playoffs 2 of his 3 years that he's there. You know, and truth be told, if he had Tua for the full season this year, I know injuries are part of it. You know, you're probably talking 3 of 3. So, you know, it's a disadvantage. Now, if it was a guy like McCarthy, you can have that discussion. Is maybe that's not the case. So, yeah. So there's that.
Hit the like button if you're one of the 850 people in here right now, and subscribe to the channel. We hit 41K yesterday. We're going for 42K now, baby. Jay writes in, thoughts on Brunell as the OC. We hit on this earlier, Jay. Both Dom and I are on board with that. City Burt writes in, why are we not interviewing Cliff Kingsbury? I mean, if he said no, that's one thing, but I want to know who turned them down so I could stop crushing the Jets for not talking to these people, because if people don't want this job for whatever reason, fine, but I get so frustrated with just the lack of transparency with who they've requested and who they've tried to talk to, because it's supposed to be no stones unturned in this transformative interview process, and we're wasting time with Mike Loxley and Ron Rivera and a bunch of guys who have no chance getting the job, and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it was, you know, Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen both said that they wouldn't interview, whether they requested, but they both there was there were people that said that they came out and said that they wouldn't interview him. I'm gonna guess, and I don't have it factual, but I'm gonna guess Cliff was of the same kind of belief that it's not that they didn't want to talk to Cliff. It's that they knew that whether it's through agents or a person here or there, that Cliff wasn't interested in coming here.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your super chats. Bo checks in. Any thoughts on Daryl Bevel, Kevin Koger, or Clint Kubiak as OC? I'm struggling to see what other weapons are available to us there. Extreme need.
Daryl Bevel. Oof. Listen, Clint Kubiak, just from the lineage, and he's actually a name that Will Parkinson has kind of bantered about as possibly fallen in there. I know he and Fraley both interviewed for the GM job in Seattle, so that could be an interesting one.
You mean the OC job?
Yeah, the OC job. That's what I'm talking about. Did I say head coach? I meant OC. But I don't know about I don't even. Truth be told, full disclosure, I don't even know who Kevin Koger is, so I can't speak to him.
City Bert. AG was a bad DC, but he could be a better head coach than DC. Calling Aaron Glenn a bad DC, I think it's very disingenuous.
I'm not going to call him a bad DC. I think it's fair though, Jake, if we're speaking honestly, that his defenses were never top of the line. Now is that a reflection of him as a defense coordinator?
You know what they did though? They were good on third down. They were good in the red zone, and they forced turnovers. The Jet defense this year was top 5 in yards allowed, and it's like they weren't a top 5 defense. Anytime they needed a big stop, they couldn't do it. The Lions came through way more than the solid defenses did in big stops over the last couple of years, for what it's worth.
That is correct.
That to me is more important to me than the stats. Can you get stops? Can you get off the field on third down? Do you force turnovers?
Yep. And if you look at, let me see, I just had it up. Let me see if I can find it real quick, Jake. Steve Wilkes has, I think, in 4 of the 5 defenses that he coordinated for, they were top 10 in total yards allowed, and total rush yards allowed, and turnovers as well. So again, you're taking all those things from that we were missing in this past year specifically, and you're adding that. You're adding a coach that can influence the game like that. I think that would be huge.
Venom AG has scouting experience, coordinator experience, mentored by Parcells. He and Newmark both into analytics, as per Will Pa. Yeah, I mean, look, Aaron Glenn's background is great. It's just the fact that he's another first-timer coming into the belly of the beast that is the head coach of the Jets. Not easy.
Yep.
City Bird. Schoen's 13-year-old kid said to trade up for Jaden Daniels. So it's actually Shane. Joe Shane's 13-year-old kid. Maybe we should really be listening to Jack, Brick's younger brother. Now that's a take.
Is he the Madden rating kid, or is that Brick?
I don't know. I think that was supposed to be Brick.
Yeah. Well, somebody commented on one of my posts today on Twitter and said, "Hey, maybe if Wilkes comes in, we can have a safety with a Madden rater higher than 70." I'm like, I'm all for it, man.
I'm in. I'm
in.
sold. Jets Worldwide. How about this? 5 raffle tickets for Jets Worldwide with this one here. $20 super chat is the equivalent of gifting 5 memberships to get in on our raffle for the G. Wilson jersey, the Brees signed trading card, and the Aaron Glenn signed trading card as well. We're not in position to hire first-timers at this point. We need experienced leaders. I'm hopeful something changes. Thanks for all the quality content every day. Draft Will Howard. We agree with the first-timer stuff, Jets Worldwide, but as far as Will Howard goes, Dom, your thoughts on him as a draft prospect?
Listen, he really played well the second half of the year and definitely through the playoffs. I think he's got, he's a Pennsylvania kid. He's right outside of Philadelphia in the Doylestown area. So, he's an East Coast kid. He's 6'5", 230, 240 pounds. So he's got that big, he's got that big frame. He's got a strong arm. There's a lot of him. And again, I'm not going to necessarily say this is my comp to him, but he gives me a lot of Ben Roethlisberger vibes. Where he could throw it to all levels. He's got a cannon. He layers the ball really well, over that middle zone when he's hitting, guys on the intermediary routes. He can definitely throw it deep. We saw that all day yesterday. He's more of an athlete, than, again, another sneaky athletic guy. To me, and the thing that he struggled with throughout his college career, I think, is two factors. One, he puts the ball in harm's way too often. Like, he's got that real gunslinger mentality. He's got that early Josh Allen kind of, I can make any throw and I'm going to force that ball into here. So that's an issue. And then then it's the second part of it for me is the processing and throws with anticipation. Like, throwing a guy before he's out of his break, or kind of leading a guy in anticipation, not throwing at the receiver, kind of throwing the ball to where the receiver's going to be on certain routes, concepts, and whatnot. That, I think, he struggles. Could he be a starter? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if he's a day 1 or 2 pick for me personally. But he's a guy that you can get in there and maybe, he develops into, a low end starter at worst, a really, really good, comfortable backup quarterback in the NFL.
Luppy writes in, Jake, you need to get Tannenbaum on the show. Luppy, I'll work on that for you.
Yes.
No guarantees, though. I don't know if Mike wants to talk about this, but I have interviewed him before. I will try again. AD writes in, up on Glenn after hearing him speak. Is Sapp leaving with Dion? I want him for our D-line coach. Who do you think Glenn will bring with him, if anyone?
Don't know. I mean, I didn't even realize. I did know that, actually, that Warren Sapp was one of Dion's coaches there. So, yeah, I don't know who Glenn would bring with him on the defensive side. I don't know if there's discussions or an agreement on how many coaches they're going to pluck from that Detroit family right now. So, yeah, again, if I had to guess, the defensive guys will probably go with Glenn, and the offensive guys will probably go with Ben Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, comments, questions, super chats, cut the line around here. Jets Carpetbagger writes in, what's your predictions on final playoff games in Super Bowl? Do you have teams you want to win and lose, even though the Jets aren't in the playoffs? I am rooting for Kansas City this week and then the NFC the rest of the way, whoever wins.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Absolutely.
Who do I think wins? I'm not picking against the Chiefs at this point. I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't in good faith root for the Bills. Even though I think Josh Allen's amazing. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. He's just not going to get my support.
Carl Duncan checks in. I swear we as Jet fans can be the worst sometimes. Aaron Glenn's coming from an organization that finished off a 15-2 season with a playoff appearance, which he's had a lot to do with. He's a really qualified candidate. No one's disputing that. It's just a matter of another first-timer on that side of the ball and just not trying to do something different. That's what it comes down to. Like, that's why people aren't gung-ho. If this was 4 years ago when they hired Aaron Glenn, the reaction would be far different. But it's not 4 years ago. We're coming off 2 of the worst seasons in the history of the franchise. They have not made the playoffs in 14 years. They have not had a winning record in a decade. They've not won more than 7 games in a decade. They have not hosted a playoff game in over 20 years. People are rightfully pissed off and don't want to give the benefit of the doubt to the Jets. I can't fault anyone who feels that way. They got to win games. And I was big on experience because at least, at the bare minimum, you're hiring people who have done the job you're hiring them for. Aaron Glenn might be awesome. He might be Robert Saleh. I don't know. I would feel much better if they hired Mike McCarthy than Aaron Glenn. And that's the bottom line.
I would too. I think that's the same. I'm not upset necessarily with, as I said, I think Glenn has an opportunity. He has he's got all the makings of a fine head coach. I'm more not upset. I'm more disappointed and bummed about the process to get to this point, just to continue to do the same thing that we've done for the past 15 years. Right.
100%. 100%. How can anyone feel differently? Come on. Bang Mateo in the house. I'm sure it's negative. Dom Howard, comp to me, Mason Rudolph 2.0. What say you?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know if that's the whole comp thing really kind of throws me off. I don't know. I like I said, body style. I see a lot of Ben Roethlisberger in Will Howard. Do I think he's going to be as good as Will Howard? No. I think he's going to be a really good. He's got a 5th round grade. I think he's going to be a really good backup with a chance to come in and start and maybe win a game or two, if a team needs him. So, if that's Mason Rudolph, yeah.
Mason Rudolph. That's a guy who started the playoff game for the Steelers. Think about that.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's see. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We've only had 10 memberships gifted so far. If you want a chance in the raffle, get the membership. Reminder, if you want the hat I'm wearing or any item from the merch store, go to jakeasman.com/shop. If you're a Patreon subscriber, 20% off all items. Use that code that comes with your membership to the Patreon. Shout out to everyone on Patreon. Could really use more people to be a part of it. Get in our Discord. Talk Jets and whatever else is on your mind. Every single day, go to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Dom, you want to do a couple calls before we say farewell to you?
Yeah, sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, up first today is a man who said he would gift 50 Asmaniac memberships if Aaron Glenn's the coach. The big fella starts us off. Hello, big fella.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you?
What's up, man?
Hey, like I said earlier, I'm all in on Glenn. I think he's going to be good. It just seems to fit. Now, getting the draft prospects, this is my perfect draft. Okay. Will Johnson in the first, Jackson Dart if we trade up, or in the second, and one of these tight ends, Gunnar Helm or Oscar Delp. What do you think in the third?
One more time. I'm sorry, the names.
Okay. Will Johnson in the first, Jackson Dart in the second, or we trade up into the first to get him, and Oscar Delp or Gunnar Helm in the third.
You're touching a bunch of needs for the point. I happen to like Will Johnson a whole heck of a lot. He's he's my third highest ranked third highest ranked player in the class. He's got a lot to prove. Had a foot and a high ankle and a Lisfranc thing that kept him out for most of the year. But you talk about size and ball skills and the ability to flip his hips and run, and the ability to click and close and anticipate. Like Will Johnson's, got all of that. So I think he would be a great, I think he'd be a great fit. I think he would be a fit if Steve Wilkes is here and what he wants to do. There's some of me that thinks that he still might be a better off man or zone corner than he would press man. But there's the same part of me that thinks that about Sauce. So we shall see. When you talk about the physicals and the production and the ball skills, Will Johnson's got it all. And as for the other two guys, I like all those. I like all those tight ends. I like the tight ends in that third, fourth round. Sure, I like Colson Loveland. I like Tyler Warren a heck of a lot too. So if any of those guys were on board, that's fine. I think you touched on positions and people where we definitely need, we definitely need an influx of talent. So I'd be happy with that, I guess.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I just like Gunnar Helm. He just seems like this big beast of a guy who's just going to run over people. And that's what we need. We just need someone to, show dominance in that. And also with Aaron Glenn being the coach, he may be able to teach these guys how to catch the ball, because that's what he did well. He got a lot of interceptions, and he may be able to teach Sauce some technique about how to look for the ball when it's coming at you, and possibly get your hands up.
Yeah. In terms of Gunnar Helm, I like the upside of him. I think he could be, kind of versatile. You can play him all over the place. I question how much of a true inline tight end he would be. Okay. Blocking is not really probably one of his strong suits, which is fine because you can get away with it if you have another solid guy. Say they brought in I don't know. I would use this example. Say they re-signed. Oh my God, who's our tight end now? Somebody help me here.
Tyler
Conklin, yeah. Say they re-signed Conklin and you want to bring Gunnar Helm to kind of, be that tight end too and that flex guy or so on and so forth. Okay, do I want to bring in Conklin? He's not super high on my priority list, but I could see something like that. But Gunnar Helm can definitely get up the seam. I think he's a good route runner. He's got really good hands. Small sample size. He hasn't done it too long, but right. He's a guy that you want to take a shot on. 3 might be a little rich, that third round, but that he'll probably end up somewhere but in that round 3, round 4 spot.
Okay. All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You got it, brother.
ladies and gentlemen, the big fella. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Dom C on the line, but we have Bo C gifting channel memberships. Yeah, sound the alarm. John, Sean, Benny, Jet Fan, Kyle, all receiving channel memberships from Bo C. Bo, you're in the raffle for 5 more entries. John wants to know, can I gift memberships from the iPhone? You cannot. You got to be on a laptop or desktop if you're on the iPhone watching the show. But if you want in on the raffle, $20 super chat, we'll get you 5 raffle tickets. So you could do it that way. If not, get to a laptop and you could gift that way as well. Dom, all right. Final question for you. You ready?
Shoot. Yes.
We think Aaron Glenn's going to get this job. We think that Lance Newmark is going to get this job. Your prediction for who the New York Jets hire as the offensive coordinator is?
Oh, man. Jake, I have I have no idea. I'm going to go. You know what? I said Davis Webb before. I'm going to link the two. I think Davis Webb is going, and I'm making this up. I think Davis Webb is going to come highly regarded from Sean Payton. I think he's the guy that's that Aaron Glenn is going to hitch his wagon to. So if I had to guess, and that's all it is a guess, that's who I'm going to say.
All right.
And maybe it's because I want to see it a little bit.
Yep. That would be intriguing, right? That would be intriguing. All right. Dom, appreciate you hopping on, man. You're going to be at the Senior Bowl next week. We're working on the time to get you on the show, and that will be a lot of fun, man. You do a great job covering the draft. Make sure that Jets Chaos doesn't tell anyone on the Jets coaching staff that's there that he loves him again, because that didn't work out too well with Overkill.
It didn't work out too well. We're going to keep him at bay and away from the coaches. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was gung ho, but I mean, in hindsight, we should have known the season was doomed to fail after this moment.
Okay, good luck, Coach. We love you.
I love you too, Jeremy. You look mighty cute in those jeans, brother.
That's awesome.
Oh man, Dom, you're the best. Thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me, Jake. So long.
Dom C, check him out. Talking Jets, Project Prospect with Dom C. Does a great job. He is as plugged into the draft as anyone. Big Jet fan. I was with Dom out in London this year. We watched that debacle in person together. So good guy. We'll get him on the channel a lot throughout the offseason. Tristan, $10 super chat, cuts the line. There should be some optimism about Aaron Glenn's ability to pull some of that offensive staff with him. A promotion on offense for stay in the same role, but in a new location with Ben Johnson. I mean, the appeal to join Glenn would be if you're an offensive guy, you get to do more because Ben Johnson is a offensive guy, but I don't know. I also don't think Glenn is just going to be taking guys only from the Lions staff. I think he's going to tap into his Rolodex of contacts throughout the league. This guy's been around the NFL a long time. Speaking of which, if you want to get excited about Aaron Glenn, because I'm obviously rooting for it to work, I'm a Jet fan first and foremost. I was rewatching Aaron Glenn's appearance on the Pivot podcast from a few months back. Really good interview with the guy. Here's Aaron Glenn telling the story about how he got into coaching in the first place.
Why jump right back into this?
Man, I'm going to tell you guys that I'm going to try to make this a quick story. So, and a lot of people don't even know this about me. Retired in 2008. Man, I owned 8 restaurants from 2008 to 2011. All right, you guys right there called Frenchies in Houston. Yeah, I actually owned 8 of them at one point. And they were doing well. Man, I actually had one in the Texan Stadium. All right, I had one right across the street, right from the Texas. So the players used to always come over and eat. Man, it was like a club on Sundays. All right, it was good and it was doing well. So man, I'm at home. It's probably 2010. I'm at home and I'm watching SportsCenter or something like that. And man, I am cursing the TV out. I'm watching somebody play and I'm just cursing the TV out. They should have done this. They should have done that. All right, and my wife's sitting there and she was like, AG. I'm like, what? She said, go coach.
Right.
I'm like, wow. What do you mean? She said, listen, it's cool you doing your restaurant thing, right? And you like that, but you love ball. You love ball. And man, when I tell you a weight was off my shoulders after that, because I was like most guys, you know, coming out, man, I have to be this big time businessman. I have to sit behind a desk wearing a suit and tie. And man, that wasn't me. You know, and I'm doing something that I liked, but I didn't love. Right. And I want to make sure if I do something, man, my heart got to be in it. Mm-hmm. And once she told me that, I jumped right in it, man. And at that point, and this is a saying I always say, I didn't stick my toe in the water to see if it was cold. I jumped right on in there. Right. And I scouted, in-house scout with the Jets a couple of years. Then I went on the road. I was driving for hours, right? College scouting. Then I went right to being an assistant DB coach. I did my QC thing because I want to make sure I didn't miss one step. I want to start from the bottom. I told everybody I was there, don't treat me any different than anybody else, right? Because I want to understand everything there is about the scouting process. I want to know everything about being a QC. I want to know everything about being an assistant coach, all right, to a lead DB coach, to a defense coordinator I am right now, right? And I'm hoping to be a head coach at some point. So I didn't want to miss one step, so you can't tell me that I haven't seen it, just like with a player.
That's what you want. I mean, look, there's a lot to like with Aaron Glenn. It's just another first-timer in a really, really tough spot. Hope he's ready for it. Hope it works. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you want an Aaron Glenn signed trading card, get the membership to be entered in next week's raffle. We did our 12th raffle since December 1st yesterday. I don't think you're finding any show that's giving away as much stuff as we are, and that's a testament to everyone who supports the channel to be able to allow us to do that. So the Garrett Wilson signed jerseys, the next top prize, followed by the Breece Hall signed trading card with the jersey patch, and the authenticated Aaron Glenn signed card is our third place prize. So there you go. Comments, questions, super chats. Let's get to more of your calls right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. If you go to gusbuster.com, you could purchase the best umbrella in the universe. And you could use the promo code Jake, so you'll get 15% off on any of your umbrellas. Let's say hello right now to Kyle Clifton. Hello, Kyle.
What's going on, Jake?
How are you?
I'm good, man. So we had a little conversation before with Dom and the big fella about Jackson Dart and us possibly coming up from the second round or whatever. There were a couple teams there starting middle of the first round into the late first round, playoff teams, some of them or teams that just missed the playoffs that might be interested in Dart. I don't think he's a top 10, top 12 player, but when you start to get to teams at 18 like Seattle or 21 at Pittsburgh, and the Rams perhaps might be interested in the quarterback, that's when you say to yourself, well, do we just keep our powder dry for 2016 when there's a better class coming rather than expending, capital this year or future capital on a guy like Dart? We know we don't have a third rounder next year. Thank you, Hassan. That's something that you want to think about too. I do like Dart, but it's got to be at the right price.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him in the first round. Maybe in a trade back, maybe, but I wouldn't do it at pick 7.
I think a position that we have to concentrate on the first 2 days of the draft has to be tight end. It's become obvious that position has been much weaker than we ever thought it was, especially with Conklin being a free agent. He's got some void years there, and I don't know if it makes any sense to sign him back into the new regime. It might be better to start fresh. Ruckert has not panned out. And some of these other guys that were either taken or UDFAs like Gilboa and Kuntz, these are heavily tied to the old regime. So those are guys that we're going to be looking to replace, and we're going to be looking to replace some of the pipeline guys like Kuntz.
I hope so. I mean, they better be looking to replace these guys.
Yeah. About Glenn, there's a big premium that I put on the drive that we just saw in that last video. I didn't know much about Frenchies. I just Googled it real quick. Apparently they're, a Louisiana guy, went to Houston, chicken franchise type thing. Did well.
Very good, by the way, for what it's worth. I have had it when I lived in Houston for 6 years.
Right. But to have a guy that, had a successful playing career, was doing well as a businessman, and just had a void in his life, and it was football, and is pursuing his dream. And now he's telling us that he wants to be here, and this is the job that he wants. I put a pretty high premium on that. You don't want to have Mike Vrabel in here and have him, 9, 10 months down the line say, well, I'm kicking myself. I should have taken the New England job. And I think that there's something to be said that we're finding out through back channels that a lot of these offensive guys don't want to come to a place where there's no quarterback. I think that's why Joe Brady kind of was dragging his feet about scheduling an interview here. And now it looks like I don't think that ever took place, did it?
No, it has not taken place.
Yeah, I don't think it ever will now because I think it's become obvious
No,
that
it's done. If they don't hire Aaron Glenn today, something either went horribly wrong or out of courtesy to the Saints because he has a lot of respect for the people there because he coached there before Campbell brought him to Detroit. He might just take that interview just to hear them out of respect to them because they gave him an opportunity to advance his career. But he wants the Jets. The Jets are his number one choice.
Yeah, I'm just saying the fan base might need to relax. He's not your first choice or my first choice. You're possibly even the second choice. He might start to come into play third or fourth, but there's a lot of weight I would put in someone who wants to be here, has his type of experience and drive, and knows the market. I appreciate your time, Jay.
Kyle, all fair points. It's funny, right? I'm getting accused of being too negative on this when these are the same people who tell me I was too positive for thinking the Jets were going to be good this year. Remember that? I picked them to win 12 games the last 2 years, really believed in this team. So now I'm too negative because from the beginning, I didn't want a first-time head coach, and that's exactly what they did. And it's another defensive guy. So it can work. I'll be the first to tell you that. But I think they took an unnecessary risk with this hire. I hope Aaron Glenn's awesome. He could be awesome. But don't forget, a lot of what you're saying about Glenn, you said about Robert Saleh too. Remember, Robert Saleh was on Wall Street, and then 9/11 happened, and it inspired him to get out and do what he loved because his brother almost died in 9/11. If you remember that story. Robert Saleh came from a team that was in the Super Bowl under great coaching, leader of men, going to coach the whole team. Players love him. I love how it's like if you say Aaron Glenn could be Saleh 2.0, it's like, no, you're wrong. Glenn is way more quality. No, it's very similar, actually. Very similar. I like Aaron Glenn. He's a former player. He was a great Jet. Not good. He was a great Jet. But I don't know if it's going to work. I do know Mike McCarthy was out there. Brian Flores, his last 2 years as a head coach, was 10-6 and 9-7. So I'm on board because I rather, Aaron Glenn than, Matt Nagy or Arthur Smith or Mike Loxley or some of these other scrubs the Jets wasted our time on. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm all in and gung-ho. And also, you got a first-time GM. I would love the Glenn hire more if there was another GM that had experience with him. Not a guy who's been around the Lions the whole time. And until the last 3 years, the Lions weren't thought to be this great franchise you pluck players and coaches and executives from. So I have my doubts. I hope I'm wrong. I thought Saleh was a great hire, and it wasn't. So maybe me not loving this, not being, all in, being like, yeah, this is great. Maybe it ends up being awesome. That'd be great. I just hope they hire a former GM to this front office with Newmark. Like, Dimitroff would be awesome for that. That's what I hope happens. We'll see. Aaron Glenn could be great. He could suck. We don't know. And any coach they could have hired with experience could suck too. We don't know. But I think your percentages of getting it right are higher if you hired someone who's done the job you're hiring them for. Aaron Glenn's not going to get a whole lot of patience from this fan base. Can I tell any Jet fan to show more patience? You've shown enough patience. Robert Saleh won 4 games his first year. This team better win 8 or 9 games this upcoming year, minimum. I'm not signing up for another 6 or 7 win season. Especially if you want me to sit there and watch this if they move on from Aaron Rodgers, which I would keep Rodgers now. I now feel more strongly about bringing Aaron back than I did previously with this Glenn hire. I'm bringing Aaron back. Because here's the thing. We now have a defensive-minded head coach. You're going to need to take a quarterback, if not this year, in 2026. I want Aaron Rodgers here, especially if they do take a dart throw on Jackson Dart, pun intended, or a different quarterback in the second or third round this year. I want Aaron here for that guy. I do. Michael, super chat. Okay, Jake, I guess I could forgive AG for the fake spike game if he takes us to the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Aaron Glenn takes this team to the playoffs. I'll be ecstatic. I'll be giddy. Let's go. Nick Shine's in the house. At work and on the phone. Can't gift the membership. Throw me in. You're in the raffle, baby. Rumors of Steve Wilkes being the potential DC for Glenn. Any word on scheme, man versus zone, blitz rates, creativity, DTs that weigh over 290. Love the show. Thank you, Nick. We went through the resume of Wilkes earlier, and Dom knew about his scheme and specifically kind of answered a lot of that. So I'll leave that to Dom's answer earlier in the show. Someone asked about Wilkes, Nick, so that will answer a lot of your questions. For what it's worth, if Steve Wilkes is the DC, I like that hire a lot for Glenn. I want former head coaches on this staff. Wilkes has been a head coach twice. Once as a head coach, he got railroaded after a year in Arizona, and then once as a intern, and where he did a really good job with Carolina. Bo checks, and I mentioned Kevin Koger, Atlanta tight end coach, because in my opinion, you find a coach who knows how to feed a tight end. It's a coach who could feed everyone. I don't know enough about the Atlanta tight end coach to know whether or not he'd be a good OC candidate. Yeah, I'm going to defer to Aaron Glenn. This is on him. A head coach is going to have the right to pick their staff. NYJ, I like Woody. I just feel like he has no football sense, and he treats the football aspect of the team like another one of his Johnson and Johnson transactions. I mean, look, all I could hope is that they got it right with these hires. History will tell you they didn't, but that doesn't mean it can't work. As Rich points out, hit the like button if you're watching the show live right now. There's 823 of you in here as we await what feels like a formality at this point. Aaron Glenn being hired by the Jets. You do wonder, do they hire Newmark first so they could try and say, we got the GM first, and then we got the coach deal done? Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me if Newmark's today, Glenn's tomorrow. We'll find out. Let's get to more of your calls right now. There's a guy on the line who can weigh in and give us an up-close and personal perspective on Aaron Glenn.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see. Sometimes when I have a few drinks, I slip and fall and break my face. Not that my vision was bad enough. Now I have this dull shit scar. Hi, Jake.
David, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I don't think you're negative. I think you're realistic. And why would you want to put Tannenbaum on your show if you have the great Dom C? I could listen to you. I could listen to you guys for hours.
Thank you, David. I'd like to talk to Tannenbaum because I want to ask him a lot of these questions I have about the process. I don't know how honest he'd be with me, but I got a lot of questions about this.
Well, you know what, Jake? Let me retract back on that. If you have Tannenbaum on, because you're such a really good interviewer, I think you can get a lot out of him. That would be interesting.
I agree.
I hope that they get the Aaron Glenn situation done today, and then immediately I'm in on it 660%. But and you and Dom talking, you already made me feel a little bit better about prospective assistant coaches and all that kind of stuff. And I think Aaron Glenn, so he'll be going in, let's say, as the underdog with the chip on his shoulder. So that might. I don't think that he needs added incentive for the job or whatever, but we get behind him 660% as Jets fans. That's all we can do.
Look, I hope Aaron Glenn does an amazing job, David. I want you, out of your two eyes, to see a Super Bowl championship for the Jets.
Oh, that would be wonderful. And I thought about that. And I was around to see the first Super Bowl, and I hear you young fellas and everything, and I actually, not only for myself as a Jet fan, but for you younger fellas that really deserve to see the Jets win the Super Bowl. I throw my hat in for you guys more so than myself.
David,
but it would be nice while I'm still walking on the earth to to see a Jet Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a question for you. You ever use the term whippersnapper?
You young whippersnapper. Yeah, yes.
I feel like it's a good one.
Yeah, that's old school. Old school, you young whippersnapper.
I love it. I love it. Well, David, you keep up the great work. Tremendous call today.
Thank you, sir. I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Legendary. David T. Big fella agrees. David T is the effing best. That he is. Kyle Clifton, Super Chat. New Orleans pushed Glenn's second interview back due to snow. Yeah, I wonder if that just gives the Jets more time just to get this done. Don't even let them get on a plane and go visit with the Saints. He might. I would caution Jet fans who do want Glenn. If he doesn't sign a deal today and he still intends to meet with the Saints, that doesn't mean he's not going to be the Jet coach. He might feel like he owes the Saints a common courtesy interview. He has a good relationship with the GM there. He obviously has a lot of familiarity with the organization. He coached there. It wouldn't surprise me if he gives them a courtesy interview. So I think regardless what happens, it's going to be Glenn. I'd be shocked. I think that's their guy. Ladies and gentlemen, love him or hate him, you watch. It is time to unleash the beast.
You know what time it is? A beast breaker, 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Beast?
You see the back of that jacket, baby boy? That's championship quality made for honor, made for glory. This is what it's called. Honor and glory.
Yeah.
Now, you know how much this was? $260.
That's
You
chump
heard
change
me, right?
for you, Beast. That's chump change.
Yeah, hey, chump change is chump change. Hey, what you see is what you get. Aaron Glenn, I think we're good. If we get him, great. But here's the thing we need to focus on. We need 3 other men with bullets and power and also, force. I don't want no sissy, over the top, overqualified, little chimps that'll not earn up to our standards. We want men that have the balls, and I'm talking winning seasons. None of this 8, 9, 10. No, I'm talking 11, 12, and 13. That's the numbers I want to see. That's what will get us into the playoffs, number 1. And in order to get that done, we need to get off our dead ass. Stop doing this. Stop, putting our finger up our nose. Get off our goddamn asses and start learning the damn, rules, and also get out there and freaking win. 14 years. How many times have we been getting belted in the face? Enough. It's time to start saying enough getting belted in the face. How about we just punch the bastards right in the goddamn eyes? And and to Billy, it's not the Patriots, my friend. It's the Patsies. The Patsies are always going to be the Patsies. You know why? Because they're choir boys with pink robes on because they're chicken. And they don't have the nuts enough to come down here and fight us like real champions because they're little sissy boys. Oh, and if you not noticed, come on, Sepultura. Hey, that's for you, big fella, if you have the heart for this. And I got this, guess where? Los Angeles, long time ago. And Jake, who do you want your next 3 candidates to be? Name your next 3 candidates. Who do you want?
For the head coach, I think it's done.
That's right. I'm putting you on the hot seat. I'm going to put you on the hot seat.
I think it's done. There's no point. I think it's going to be Aaron Glenn.
Well, that's one. But you need 3 other bullets. I'm talking 3 other strong bullets.
I don't think they're going to take your plan and hire 2 other head coaches. I think they're only going to hire 1.
1. But you also need to look at offense at the top. The guys that run the things at the top. Running the plays and all that. We need guys like that at the top. And it's called, okay, ladies and gentlemen, no more of this bullshit. We're gonna start winning games. Oh yeah. Oh, to Michael Clemens, let me address something to you. You're fired. You're done. You suck. You couldn't even lace this team's boots. You couldn't touch our bags, our jocks, or anything. You're a wimp. You're a geek, and you have no heart. Get out of this organization and take a walk, you big joik. And we also need, let me just say for everybody, quarterbacks, we'll take a look. Let's see what we can do for starters. Rule 1, never doubt your talent. Go out and get, you got the money, but we'll use it wisely. I would get you and Billy on my team, and I would give you guys a list, and I will make sure you guys go to all 100,000 of these colleges, and you bring back me the talent, and I will review them. I will look at them, and I will sit down, and I will watch every single player from top to bottom, and I don't care until it's like maybe midnight. I'll have enough drinks in me, from top to bottom. I don't care if it's Pepsi. I don't care if it's Diet Coke. I don't care if it's RC, and I don't care if it's Joe Cola. I will stay up half the night and watch half of these guys play, and that's a damn order.
Mike D's Nuts says this moron is ruining his lunch. My
Oh,
lunch.
Hey, Mike. Quit your bitching. Quit your complaining. Get your balls up and act like a man instead of a little choir boy. Enough of that. We're not going to have it here. Suck it up, big boy. If you can't do it, here's your ticket. Get in line, jerk.
Dave Brigger writes in, Beast doesn't make any sense. It's all WWE bravado. Go get a job in fake wrestling.
I'm not going to talk to you, David Brigger. I'm going to say this one time. You eat dog turds out of a nursing home. So how you like them apples, monkey head? Get out of here. And I'm not going to yell and scream today. You know why? Because you are. You know what that meant? Dust. You're dust. You have no heart. You're nothing but old. Now get out of here. Castro, you're the same thing. You're dust. You're garbage. You're like the morning garbage I throw out. Excuse me? Excuse me, Morales? How about you go to the store and go get me 10 things of gabagool, some chicken, and some turkey, and some salami, and we'll make sandwiches, and I'll show you how to get them done. And I'll show you how to make a real man's pizza, you loser. If you have the heart for it, I'll challenge you one-on-one in a pizza contest, and we'll see who wins then.
Big
Put your money where your mouth is. Hey, I got this from Los Angeles a long time ago with $16, but it was worth it. That's right, big fella. You're part of this team too, but I would also give you a list. I will make sure you go to these colleges and you find me the talent. You bring me the talent. I don't care if I stay up till midnight. I'll drink as many Joe Colas and have a pizza at least. At least I got balls to stay up, and I'll do it, for this team, because I'm not gonna fall asleep like half of these jerk-offs on here that do nothing but Not enough talk. How about get off your ass and do it? Just like the Nike commercial. Just do it. Enough said.
Super chat from Matthew. He goes, I was going to donate memberships, but I'll just send Beast to the hole instead. Let's go, Jeff.
Hey,
Beast,
Matthew.
this guy thought he could send you to the
I challenge
hole.
you to a pizza contest. How about you throw your name in the match and we'll make pizza? You and me, we have a pizza match. We'll see who has the balls. But if you ain't got what it takes, take your ass to the hole. Here's your meal ticket. Get in line. Get in line.
You say pizza contest? I know just the guy
That's
to have
right.
a conversation with.
We're
Gas
make
station pizza is better than a Big Mac. Yeah, ladies, you can do my music.
Oh, look at this guy. I haven't seen this guy in 100 years. Hey, Santa Claus. Hey, if you're part of my team, I'm going to give you a razor, and I'm going to tell you, get in the bathroom, shave that shit off. We're going to look like champions here. Is that clear?
If you were on my team, I would say get your ass in the gym and lose 100 pounds. You're disgusting. You're going to have a heart attack soon. That's what I would say.
Gary, the only thing you are is all hot air, no heart. You know who you remind me of, and you really know who you remind me of.
You came after me.
You're weak. You have no heart. This is what heart is. This is what heart is. You see all them spikes there? I paid for half my gear. So jerk off. Hey, be quiet when I speak. Hey, I got the floor. Hey, I'm gonna remind you something. I'm the teacher and you're the bitch. Now shut your stinking pie hole before I stick my chocolate fist down your throat. Okay? Now shush.
I'll give you $100 if you do that. I'll give you $100 cash money if you come do that right now.
Kid, I got better things. In the words of the great Jack Lemmon, I got better things to do than dick around with you all day. I got better things to work on. I got books to write. I got things to work on. You don't have no heart.
You're the one throwing threats around, my man. You're the one saying you're going to punch me in the face. Come do it.
Bunghole.
Come punch me in the face.
You know what?
Bastard, come do it.
I'm not going to talk to you. You're done. Done. You're done. In the words of Eric Bishop, you're done.
And kick you out of the basement.
Cut him off. Cut him off. Please, cut him off. Jake, you know what this means, right? Cut him off. Done. I'm not gonna argue with a little kid here.
You came in after me. Okay? I didn't say nothing to you.
Done.
Tell me you're gonna punch me in the face, do it. I want to see you do it. But we both know you're not leaving mommy's basement. We all know that.
Kid, the only thing you are is a basement city dweller and you're a joik. So how you like that?
I'm a basement city dweller. Okay, I don't even know what that means.
I got more heart than you, and the only thing
we don't even have basements in Texas.
I'm a legend, and you're just an old fossil with no heart.
You're a legend in mommy's basement. Okay.
Kid,
mommy's gonna come in. If you don't talk nice, mommy's gonna come in and cut your internet.
I don't think you have one. You don't have anything. You don't have anything. You're not showing me nothing. You're weak. You're weak.
Good. That's awesome. Then do something about it.
I'm gonna piss in a bucket and hear a monkey like you. You know.
Do something about it. Then do something about it.
Yeah. You're just a monkey. I'm a man. At least I got this. I got muscle. All you got is rump roast.
He's a grown man with 36 double D's. Look at you.
You know, in the words of Dave Mustaine,
you're 100 pounds overweight. You don't leave your mom's basement, man. Yeah.
40 double D, really? I bet you taking it. I bet you take it behind the old or whatever it is. But I'm not.
Stop fantasizing. It's a little funny too. He's got a little sugar in his gas tank. I see.
They hear a monkey like you.
That's good. That's good. That's good, Beast. That's good.
Hey, now get out of here. Go back.
It's good.
On behalf of the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
What a turn of events. I've never seen Gary actually mad. The Beast Breaker did it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, it's amazing seeing how split the chat is. Half the people love him. Half the people hate him. That's no ghost. He spent $2 just to say that he's showing support to the Beast. You never know what you're going to get. TH3 writes in 10-7 Gary. Gary slowly becoming my favorite as maniac. Gary, I think, had a unreal month. I think he's got a chance to be the #1 ranked caller for January by the committee. Gary's been sensational. It all started, I can't even say it all started with this because there's been so many things this month, but this was the most recent epic Gary moment. Give us a little moonwalk.
I can't. I got the ankle. Oh, do you not know what happened?
No. Did something happen recently?
Yeah, when I was in New York, I got hit by a car.
Is there security footage of this? Can I play it on the show?
So they would probably have the footage. I mean, what am I going to do with it now?
Gator's already working on a production of this. So
I think that's why I didn't want to bring it up.
I'm going to play a drop, and then that's your cue to make a face like you got hit by a car. You ready?
All right, I'll do it.
Here we go. Ready? And Gator writes in, can he throw the headset off and vomit?
Now there's a gas station over here. I'm gonna go get some pizza and see if they have any butter to put
on it.
You could have died.
But I didn't.
Gary's having quite the month. There was a comment from Papa Jet saying, Beast, Jake, you didn't put Beast in the hole. It was 10 memberships or $50. No one paid either. Beast We're not just gonna send beasts to the hole. We have a code of conduct around here. We have a bounty price. No one met the bounty. That's the bottom line. More of your calls right now. Jason's in Jerusalem. He's next. Hello, Jason.
Hey, Jake. Sorry, I'm outside, so I don't have a headset on, so hope you could hear me well.
You sound great.
But,
What's up, man?
Okay, well, you got an outdoor Jerusalem nighttime caller here.
Love it.
I read the article about Glenn. I'm actually quite impressed with how he came about going through becoming a head coach and insisting that he needed to work from the ground up to see what everybody did, what scouting was like, and what it was like to work yourself up as a coach. And I guess that was the one knack I had on McCown, is that everything sort of looked like everything was handed to him. That granted he was a player coach, but he didn't really work his way up the system. Flores very much lost points in my book when you realize McCown wasn't coming with him. But unpopular opinion, if you get Aaron Glenn, you got to get rid of the jerseys that they were wearing when Glenn started with the Jets. Those were brutal years that they wore those jerseys. Granted, it doesn't have the black trim, but it's okay to change jerseys after 1 year, so we don't remember what it was like during those Joe Walton era for Jets fans.
Yeah, but Glenn didn't wear the current jerseys.
Well, he wore it with the black trim because they changed it. They changed it in '98 when Parcells came.
Right,
Parcells' the second year.
But those jerseys aren't the Sack Exchange era ones that they wore in
It was
the
a
Coke
slight
year
variation.
'96.
The only difference was they added the black trim to it. Other than that, it was more or less the same jersey. It was a minor tweak to it.
No, the jerseys is probably one of the good things about the Jets right now. I love the jerseys. I don't think anyone's going to agree with you on that one because the jerseys Glenn wore with Kotite are different than what they're currently wearing.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in the early '80s, so I don't remember the Stack Exchanges as much as I remember Ken O'Brien throwing interceptions and Altoon getting concussions over the middle of the field and being carried off the field. Those Joe Walton era was, they changed, I think, in '90 with Bruce Coslett. That's when they added the black trim. But those years beforehand were just brutal.
Yeah, I'm just reading the comments here. The '80s uniforms are what they currently are. People love them. You're mixing and matching jerseys.
No, but they also had those from '86 to '89 as well. You're just thinking about the '82, '83 years.
Yeah, but that's what they have, and Aaron Glenn never wore those jerseys.
Right, but I'm saying, but they added the black trim. It wasn't a major overhaul. It was a minor tweak, what they did in the '90s.
Who cares?
It was the same
man?
helmet.
Who cares? The helmet's great. We love the logo.
Anyway, I wish him the best of luck. I am reminded of the time where I went to bed in Jerusalem thinking that Matt Rule was going to become the head coach, only to wake up and realize that we had Adam Gase. So it's not a finality in my book until I see that it's signed and delivered. I would have loved JES, John Eric and Josh McCown, but this is not a bad plan B for me. And whoever it is, I hope that they lead us to the promised lands.
I hope so. I better, because if Aaron Glenn doesn't, I don't know how many more years I could take. At least get to the playoffs. Have a winning season. God. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. I see Bobby Midnight is on hold, but his camera is off. Bob, are you there? I don't want to go to you, and you're not there. This is what it currently looks like. Look at this. Look at this mug.
I'm on the phone with my daughter. I have to call you back later.
All right, Bobby. I'll come back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Father. All right, more of your calls right now. This guy called in for a normal call, and we threw him into the belly of the beast. Dun.
Plants are trying to kill me, so I think I'll eat a stick of butter.
Sorry for that outburst. I let a four-letter word go, and I don't use those, so I apologize for that, Jake.
What'd you say? The F word?
No. I don't use. Starts with an S. I don't use potty mouth, and I apologize.
SH.
Yeah, I called them a. Yeah.
That's what you're apologizing for? Okay.
Yeah, I don't use potty mouth, Jake. Just That's something I do. I apologize for letting that go.
Really? What are your thoughts on your battle with Beast?
Is he real? Like, I still think like he's an AI Gator creation. Is he a real person? Is this real? Like he's a comic book character of a social loser. Like, is this real?
Is he real? He's real.
Is he a real person? He's not
And
AI data creation.
He's spectacular.
Yeah, spectacular.
He's as real as it gets.
I can't believe that's a real. I don't even know what he's babbling about. He wants to hire 3 head coaches. It's easy going here. I never even know what his calls are about. And then he just starts like insulting people with weird names. All right, man.
What do you think Beast thinks about the moon landing? Does he think it's fake like you?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I would say he thinks it's real.
Let's ask him real quick.
Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he's gabagoo.
Hey, Beast, I'm trying to find some common ground here. No fighting between you and Gary. Question: do you think the moon landing was real?
If half the people already said the moon landing was real, that's fine. I feel, hey, you have your opinion. I got mine. Now, I'm going to tell you something about
Wait, what's yours, though? Is it real?
What is your opinion? It's just yes or no. We don't need a whole preamble. Just yes or no.
It's my opinion. It's my own opinion.
What's your opinion?
Now, I'm going to tell you this, too.
Did he say yes? You said yes there, right?
69 was a damn good year. Sure, we had the moon landing. The Mets won the World Series. The New York Jets won the Super Bowl. How you like that? Is that fine?
Now, did you say the moon landing was real, though?
Correct, Mundo.
Okay. Thank you.
You know what time it is? A beast breaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gabagoo.
How about you asking for a yes or no question, Gary? Beast is completely. I've never seen you this rattled.
I'm not rattled.
You are completely rattled. You
we didn't need a whole preamble. We just needed a yes or no to the question. Like do you think the moon? Like, show us your cards. Put your cards on the table, man. Like, what are we doing?
I see.
I thought he was gonna say it was fake. No, he didn't. He thought it was real. That's what it is.
What else on your mind?
Oh, this is that clip you showed of that was on Pivot. He gives all the right answers. He obviously interviews very, very well. Right? He's a great speaker. He builds confidence in himself. Right? Like I get why they're hiring him.
He is a legit candidate. It's just a matter of, is he the best fit for what the Jets need right now? That's where I don't know.
That's why I want a veteran, experienced head coach. And I'm not saying Glenn's going to do a bad job. I just think it's an unnecessary risk on where we are right now. Maybe he'll do great, and maybe this will all work out. But I'd still rather bring in Brian Flores, someone who I know can steer the ship back on path. I hope Aaron Glenn can do it. And I'll be the biggest Glenn fan. I hope he works out. Like I like Aaron Glenn. He's a Texan. He was a great Jet. Like he's got everything I would want in a coach to root for. So I hope he does really well. Like I said, he obviously builds confidence when he speaks, right? So those are all good things. He's not a crybaby. He's not going to sit and cry on the sidelines. That's a good thing. So, I mean, I'm trying to be positive now. I want this obviously to work out. I'm a Jets fan. I want someone to fix this. So it's not my pick, but I have more confidence in this, and I think that's from listening to him speak.
Answer the question. Gary, is eating a salad more dangerous than smoking a cigarette? Yes or no?
I don't know. I don't have enough information for you.
Lowski, great super chat. Appreciate it.
It's good to see you. Where have you been, Lowski? I want your thoughts on Aaron Glenn. We got to have that call. Where's Lowski been?
He called in the other day.
He did.
Yeah.
But he used to call in more regularly than he does now.
You saying I don't know to a question that has such an obvious answer is incredible.
I don't think the answer is as obvious. I don't think the answer is as obvious as you claim it to be.
It is
very
very
of toxins and preservatives that could be in that salad. It's just that salad is not meant for human consumption, and neither is the cigarette. So I don't know the answer. That's all I can say.
25 writes in, Gary criticizing someone for being a crybaby but apologizing for his potty mouth is so funny.
A grown man can't apologize when he stepped out of line. I don't. How does that make me a crybaby? I don't understand. Sorry, deny that I did it. Should I justify that I did it? I don't understand how apologizing for stepping out of pocket is. Do you follow that? Did you follow that?
I stand with 25.
No matter what.
Bo with a super chat. Jerseys were the only thing we got right. Yeah, the jerseys are great. There's no doubt. Sham says, I respect Gary's clean language.
Appreciate that, Sham.
Jets Johnny really wants you to answer the yes or no.
I don't know. I can't answer the question without more information. I don't know the answer.
Mike wants to know, do you look down on people who say bad words?
No, I don't look down on them. I just choose not to do it.
It's amazing you can't answer the question.
I just said no.
No. The first question that King Los.
I don't have the answer to the question. You want me to make things up?
Incredible. Stack says, hit the like button to get the 400. How many are we at right now? We are at 379, and there's 660 people watching live.
Zach is your brother, right? Read your brother's comment. I know I don't look down on people who believe the moon landing.
So you don't judge people who think the moon landing.
I don't look down on them. No, I don't. You don't think it's real?
Dan writes in, I cried when my son was born. Does that make me a bad father, you bum?
No, it doesn't. Like not at all. Crying because okay, so I want you to picture this scenario. Crybaby is the OC or the head coach. It's third down. We complete a pass. We clearly get the first down. The refs give us a bad spot. There's 4 minutes left in the game, and we're down by 3. They put the ball back short of the first down.
Right.
So now we got to make a decision. Do we challenge? Do we kick the field goal? Do we go for it? And McCown is on the sidelines crying like a baby. It's like, what do we do? And McCown's just sitting there crying. It's like, this isn't gonna work. And like, you can be a great football mind, but right now you're crying on the sideline when we have a decision to be made. I can't have that.
Bo writes in, can a salad give you cancer? Yes or no?
A salad, probably not. Salad every day for years, yes.
Question from Boomtown. Gary, some experts say every cigarette you smoke, it takes approximately 20 minutes off your life. How many minutes would you estimate a salad takes off your life?
There's no way that's accurate. I don't know the answer to this question, but I definitely don't believe that 20 minutes. So there's 20 cigarettes in a pack, right? So you smoke a pack of cigarettes, that's 400 minutes off your life. These things don't even sound feasible.
Look, I'm just moderating the show right now. It's the Gary show right now. Beastbreaker says Gary just met his match.
In who? Oh, in him?
Jets Johnny. Gary, is DC a crybaby? Is John Jones a crybaby? Is Anthony Joshua a crybaby? Or what are you going on about?
Anthony Joshua's a crybaby. I know who John Jones is. I don't know what that's in reference to. I know who John Jones. I know exactly who he is. I don't know the incident you're referring to.
Taylor wants to know, what about secondhand salad?
Secondhand salad is probably as bad for you as secondhand smoke, which is not bad at all, really.
NYJ is in on our raffle with 5 more entries. He wants that Garrett Wilson jersey. Yeah. First place prize, GW jersey, autographed, authenticated. Second place, autographed jersey card from Brees Hall. Third place, Jets future head coach Aaron Glenn, autographed trading card. By the way, these jerseys are different and a different shade of green than the Jets' current jerseys that they're wearing now. So Jason in Jerusalem's got to get his eyes checked because these are different jerseys.
I like these jerseys. I'm going to try to get what is announced. I'm going to try to find an Aaron Glenn throwback jersey like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Glenn fan. I hope it works out. But it's like when St. John's hired Chris Mullins. Like, oh, this is going to be great, and it didn't. I'm not saying it's going to turn out that way, but like St. John's, St. John's basketball is back. We got Chris Mullins. Like, all right, How did that turn out? I'm not saying this is going to turn out that way. I'm just saying because he was a great player for our team doesn't mean he's going to be a great coach for our team.
Zach Johnson says Gary has severe brain damage.
Oh, the famous golfer? Zach Johnson?
Yep, I believe that's him.
Oh, yeah. You got celebrity as maniacs. Look at that.
Devin with a gifted membership. He'll be in the raffle for another one. Beastbreaker says Gary was easy bullets. What was it like to get dominated by Beastbreaker?
It is what it is.
Like if we're scoring that was 10-7, right?
That was you saw the chat. Look, I don't control what the judges put in a little piece of paper. You saw the chat though.
Yeah,
and what W's and after the Cubs win. So
I don't know about that one.
Now you're just stirring the pot.
I
didn't wake up this morning and say,
"Call me Ted." My name is not Ted.
This guy comes after me out of the blue, and then he says he's gonna shove his hand down my throat, his fist down my throat. It's like you're gonna do no such thing. Like go back to mommy's basement. You're not doing nothing.
I thought he made some great points.
Of course he did.
David writes. David writes it. Gary, what kind of cheese is the moon made of?
Provolone for sure.
Dave Brigger. Right. Who does Dave Brigger hate more, you or Beastbreaker?
I think. Wow. I don't know. I just the only thing Brigger hates me for is that I don't think the moon landing is real. Right?
Yeah, you insulted him.
I don't know how that's an insult at him. It has nothing to do with him.
Because he's a moon landing believer, and you basically called one of the great moments of his life he lived through fraudulent.
I guess I could see why that's irritating. I wouldn't hate someone over it.
Beastbreaker says Gary has small oatmeal brains. Is this true?
No, I have normal human brains.
Small oatmeal brains. Hey, that's called comedy gold right there. That's a Tim Allen quote, and I'm gonna keep it that way. That's pure class. So from a comedian, see you got. This. See if you don't see it coming. Hey, remember these words: if the lefts don't get you, the right one will. So, how about that? Hot shot. And remember this: if you don't see this, wham! You're gonna get. You want another one? Wham!
Holy crap, here comes Beastbreaker 666.
Why don't you get your fat ass on a treadmill and go the distance with me?
Is that Bobby Midnight?
I'm not into politics, and I already told you that.
I might be big, but I'm gonna be bad enough to put you out.
Beastbreaker always has some salient points.
Another 10-7 round. Another 10-7 round there.
I don't feel like fighting with him today. Like right now, again, I don't have the interest.
You can't handle the beast. We finally found someone who can get under your skin.
I can't take him seriously. What does he got? Like he's 40. He's my age, right? He's 40-something years old, and he's got posters on his wall.
I don't know how.
I can't take him.
What do
seriously.
you have on your wall? Crooked photos on your wall.
Crooked photos on my wall. He's got posters on the wall in his mom's in his mom's basement. Like this is what we're doing. His mom's attic. It's an attic he lives in. I just can't take him seriously. His mom's gonna come up there and cut his internet for not talking nice. Like his mom's like, if you're gonna talk to your internet friends, you have to talk nice. You know that's coming. I can't take him seriously.
I thought he made some good points there.
I know you do.
Bill M says literally just lost another. No one hates Beastbreaker more than this Bill M guy. And Bill, I like you, man, but let me program the show. All right. We're having our most viewed month ever right now. So I've been doing this long enough. I think I know what I'm doing here. And I like watching Gary get owned by Beastbreaker. So I'm in. Thought he made some great points.
I know. Name one. Yeah. Name one.
How's the ankle, by the way, before I say goodbye?
I'd say one more week till we can do the moonwalk. I'm good. I can walk on it now. But I'm not going to twist on it. But I can do a moonwalk for you.
You will give us the moonwalk, right?
Give it another week. Yeah, I will. The moonwalk looks difficult. It is incredibly simple. It is an incredibly simple thing to do. But I will give you a moonwalk. I guess a baby moonwalk, because I really can only do it here if y'all want to see it. But yeah.
I'm hoping after you do the moonwalk, Dave Brigger will come back around and you guys could shake hands and put the moon landing controversy behind you.
Any beef between me and Brigger is one way. I have zero beef with Dave Brigger. I have zero ill will. I have zero anger or hostility towards Brigger. Zero. Anything there is one way.
David D says, bring back the nanny.
Couple months is cool.
Yeah, when's Morgan going to be back on the show?
Next time after in the summer. Look, I want her back too. She's a great nanny. She's a great babysitter. She's a great nanny. We want her back. I said she could drop out of school, work for us full time, but she didn't really take that.
Do you think her and Beastbreaker would get along?
She's really nice. She would be nice to him if that's what you mean. I don't think they'll be fast friends. I don't think they'll be hanging out. I don't think he obviously wouldn't have a shot with her if that's what you're talking about. I don't. She would be nice to him though. That's as far as that would go.
Yeah, absolutely. Morgan seems like a wonderful, wonderfully nice lady.
Perfectly nice. Absolutely.
As Charles Gorman would say, lovely lady.
Lovely ladies.
Hey, here's a comment from Beastbreaker. I think we might be able to find some common ground with. He writes in, Brigga is chump change, 10%.
10% of what? I don't understand the 10%.
Hey, Beast, what do you mean by 10%?
Hey, this is hot comedy, my friend. Hey, slogans. I'm already coming up with new hot slogans that are going to put more people on this chat like you would believe. I can do it again. I've done it before. I can do it again. 23. At 23, I was going national. At 29, I was going international. And now at 40, I'm already hot. I'm like a bottle of hot sauce. Like this bad boy right here. Good old Texas Pete. And I got plenty more to go around. So, son, Gary, let me say this. I'm Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal combined. I could take you out of the whole 1992 USA basketball team. Just remember, I'm like Bob. I know how to put you out of commission. 1, 2, and 3.
You know what time it is? A Beastbreaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
$100 if he does it. Give him $100 cash if he knocks me out. $100 cash.
I think we got to set the match.
Now would be your time to do it because I got the ankle. So if there was ever a time to do it, it'd probably be today. $100 cash.
Now, when Beastbreaker says he's been international at age 29, I got to explore more what that means.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means.
All right. Well, Gary, we covered a lot of ground today. Thank you for the time as always.
We did. Thank you, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary.
Chicken with pasta is worse than peanut butter with sandwich.
All right, we're almost 2 hours in. I will get to the remaining calls. Hit the like button. Last chance to gift a membership to be entered in the raffle. We're going to be back later today. If there's breaking news with Newmark or Glenn, I'll come on earlier, assuming I can. And we will be live later, though. I'm planning either 4 or 5. We'll see how the news cycle goes. But there will be another stream today. So be prepared. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. I think we're all caught up. Let's say hello to JT, who's next. What's up, JT?
Yo, how we doing, Jake?
What's up, JT? It seems like you're in the Kyle Clifton living room there.
I am. We're having a couple beers. Want to come join?
Love it. Oh, I'm on my way.
This show has taken a crazy turn since my last call, man. This whole Beastbreaker thing is insane.
What are your thoughts on him?
My thoughts on him is that I have no thoughts, man. He's something else, man. I don't know. He must have gone through some shit, and that's all I gotta say to that one. But I just want to touch on this Aaron Glenn thing a little bit. I feel like people are just like, I get the concern, but I feel like people are just being very aggressively negative towards it. Like, we don't know what he is until we get to see what he is. Every great head coach has to start his head coaching career somewhere. You know what I mean? While it's not the ideal move for our situation here, I think we should just back him as Jets fans. Because I've seen a lot of things like people jumping shit. People don't want to watch if he's the head coach. Like, if you're a Jets fan, watch the damn team.
It's all talk. These people who say they're not going to watch, if Aaron Glenn wins his first game, they're going to be putting him in Canton. I mean, I don't pay any attention to the mouth breathers like that had that opinion.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn was not my first choice. I think he's going to get the job, and I will root like hell for him to win as many games as possible because I want him to do well because I'm a Jet fan. Believe me, I rooted for Adam Gase. I didn't want to be right about Gase. Unfortunately, I was like everyone else, but like I didn't want to be right. Aaron Glenn might be good. Like there's a chance that this does work out. It's not my first choice, but I'm rooting for him to be awesome. Like if you're a Jet fan, that's what you should be rooting for.
Right. I think we should all just embrace the move.
JT, what happened to you? Did you swallow your mic?
What, me?
No, now you're back. Okay. That was weird.
Interesting. Maybe my laptop with his my work laptop with his docking station's a little finicky every now and then with the sound. Even the YouTube videos, it just mutes it for like 5 seconds randomly. But yeah, so that's just my take, is that I think we just need to embrace whoever we hire, whether it be Glenn or whoever, and just say, let's go Jets, man. Stop with the negativity out there, and that's it. JETS, Jets, baby. Let's go.
JT, I hope it works out, man. Hope it works out. Hey, reminder, join the Patreon if you haven't already. Get in the Discord. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Bonus shows, name in the intro, Discord access, and a whole lot more. Let's say hello right now to Black Gypsy, who's next. What's up, Black Gypsy? Always great to hear from you.
What's up, Jake? It's been a while.
How are you?
Not bad. I was on vacation, man.
Where'd you go?
Germany.
Nice. I've never been. What's it like?
Cold, rainy.
Yeah. So it's like New York.
Basically, it's kind of like it's basically the same as Jersey and New York. Same weather, same type of buildings and shit. I went and did Nuremberg. I went and drove the track. It was pretty dope.
Love it.
All right, so to Beast, whatever the fuck his name is,
That's Mr. Breaker to you.
I would like to issue a challenge. He's not a mister. I'll issue a challenge to whatever his fucking name is. The next time you come to a Jets game or you show up at a Jets game, I'm gonna mollywop you. So be prepared. The second you show up, nigga, I'm gonna be there to punch you dead in the fucking mouth.
Whoa, you can't use that word. I guess you can, but not on this channel.
Yeah,
Not on this channel.
He's gonna get punched in the face. Everything comes at a price, right? Entertainment comes at a price. And he's annoyed me enough, just the shit that he talks, that if he shows up to a game, mark my soulless words, bro, I am knocking him clean out. There's some fans that should have respect and some fans that pay the price for not having respect. He's going to pay the price. You can't talk all this shit on the show. He can never show his face ever. This has to be entertainment for this, because if he does show up, I don't even come to those tailgate parties. I will be there from Florida to wherever the hell he is. I will take the flight to knock him clean the fuck out.
Well, let me ask you this, right? You'd be willing to potentially get charged for assault, just to quote you?
Yeah. Without a doubt. I'll take the charge, bro. It's all good. It's not a problem. I'm gonna clean the clock. There's some guys, like I was in the military for a while, right? There's a whole bunch of him in the military that you have to clean their clock, bro. Like you have to, and then they'll become regular people and talk regular. Some people have never been beaten up. He deserves to be beaten up. And
you see him on site. You're
on site. On site.
Yeah.
On site. I'm knocking him out. I'm not gonna hit him. I'm knocking him clean out.
That's understandable.
All right. And to Gary, how does a salad have preservatives in it? Like which salads have preservatives in it? Is it a fresh salad that we're talking about? Is it a salad that's been packaged for months or whatever? It's an easy question, Gary. Salad, good. Cigarette, bad. There's no distinction in between. It's just real simple.
You've heard Gary. He'll fight you on this tooth and nail.
Yeah, I wouldn't fight Gary. I mean, Gary seems like a nice guy. He just, I let Gary live. Gary is, for the most part,
so Gary, you wouldn't punch on sight. Beast Breaker, absolutely.
Because Gary, like, it wouldn't be like, no offense, Gary, it wouldn't be, Beast Breaker's on their talk. You know what makes it worse? It's the little karate video. Stop playing with me, man. You come on, be nice, Beast Breaker. Be nice.
I think you guys would get along. What if we could have an airing of grievances, you and Beast Breaker, and then maybe you'll see eye to eye with him and you won't hit him.
No airing of grievances. Give me gloves, give him gloves, and let me mollywop him, son. It's really
all right, so you're not gonna sucker punch him. You tell him.
No, he knows that he knows it's coming. So when you show up, you're gonna get punched in the face. And it should be guy code. Like, you get punched in the face, you keep it moving. You press charges. I'll go to jail for a little bit. I'll come back out.
I'm sure one of the Asmaniacs is a lawyer that would help you.
Yeah. We'll cover it, but I'm sure we'll get an applause for him getting punched in the face because tough guy on the internet it's so annoying. And when there's real tough guys out there that watch it and be like, you know what, I'm gonna punch you in the face. You deserve getting punched in the face. Other than that,
Frank says your punch will bounce off of him. How do you plan to deal with that?
if it bounces off, then it'll bounce off something else and bounce back to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if we're playing the bouncing game, like it'll refract back to him.
Kyle Clifton has already offered to pay your bail.
You see, this is why we love the Asmaniacs.
Well said.
Group.
Well said.
Beast, you are not a part of the group. If you want to become part of the group, be nicer. You can be a douche and still be nice. There's like that little line that you can walk. And you're gonna shove your hand down someone's throat. Like when you say all these words to someone that's actually violent, they're like, "A word, word." So don't show up to the games. That's my best advice to you. He likes to point and do this too.
He does.
Don't show up to the game. You know what I mean, because you show up to the game. There you go. There you go.
All
See the
right.
knuckles? Your knuckles?
Something tells me this saga will continue.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm off for the smoke. I'm
All
with
right.
it.
Hey, Black Gypsy, appreciate you calling in.
Salute.
Ladies and gentlemen, Black Gypsy joining us. What a call that was, huh? On site. Sam with a super chat. He cuts the line. Newmark was part of the 20-year Lion mediocrity, not embracing that. Yeah, but he worked his way up. Like, we don't know what he was specifically involved in. If Aaron Glenn likes him and Adam Peters likes him, I'm willing to give Newmark a chance. I'm just not inspired by two first-timers. I wanted some experience with these jobs. That's my frustration. All right, one last call, and then we're back in the afternoon here. Ladies and gentlemen, he has returned.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Well, you let that guy say that word, that Black Gypsy guy? Oh, you got a big mouth, boy. Won't you come and talk to me?
Couple things. You don't call people boy, Bobby. That's not an acceptable term.
He called I didn't call the N-word. I didn't call him the N-word.
There's context to how he said it. Obviously, we don't condone anyone using that word, but if anyone's going to say it, it's someone who's black who's allowed to say it.
I didn't miss you at all. I wish you were on vacation more, you moron.
So you're calling in to fight with Black Gypsy. Call it. Let's figure this out here. You're picking the wrong fight.
No, I'm not in the wrong fight.
No, you're going to lose this one. I would tread very carefully here.
I don't give a crap. I really don't give a crap.
So you called in because you had an issue with Black Gypsy? That's your problem?
No, I was in the back until he started feuding on my friends like that. So
Jimbo says Bobby and Beastbreaker share the same brain.
Yes, we do. How you know that, Jimbo? You're a very smart guy. Me and Beastbreaker are friends now. Yeah.
TB says, damn, Bobby wants to get in trouble now.
I am going to get in trouble. I don't care. I can't wait to meet him at the Jet game. He could go fly a kite.
You're talking about Black Gypsy?
Yeah, Black Gypsy. Yep. Come on, boy. Let's go.
Mo says, Bobby, you were my hero. Not anymore.
Oh, Mo, I love you too. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Ralphie writes in, Bobby got knocked down by J-Quest. Imagine what Black Gypsy would do.
Oh, my God. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Ryan says, now Bobby is tough. LOL. Good Lord.
I'm not tough. I just don't like people picking on my friends like that. So I'm sticking up for my friends. I'm not.
So your friend is Beastbreaker? Are you calling in to defend Beastbreaker?
Yes, I did. Yes.
What a turn of events.
Me and him are friends now.
Remember, I get it. But
I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow so I could get a nice appointment for my hair.
I don't know what you being friends with Beastbreaker has anything to do with you announcing you're getting a haircut tomorrow.
No, I need for my job interview at Burger King. That's what I need. The nice, like a shaggy look at that. Imagine
Dave Brigger says, Bobby, you can't possibly be friends with Beastbreaker. Please don't do it. Well, Dave, guess what? This is what happens when you let Bobby become friends with Alan. Once you let Bobby to his own devices, he's free to do whatever he wants. And you all allowed that to happen. So this is the consequence of that friendship.
Hey, I'm a 56-year-old.
Deal with it, Brigger. Bam! One punch, Dave Brigger. You lost, Dave. You lost. Bobby has turned to the dark side, and there's nothing you could do.
I'm only 56. I'm allowed to pick and choose who my friends are. Black
Jay says,
Gypsy's
no,
definitely.
Bob, don't do it. That's it. Bobby has gone to the dark side. You all failed.
Well, I know why you like the Beast Breakers so much.
Because he makes salient points.
And something else.
No, he makes salient points. And we respect all opinions.
Moo.
Hold on 1 second. I'm on the phone. Hello?
Yeah. Cash cow. Yep.
Give us another cow noise.
Moo.
Jay Quest says in the hole. You want Bobby in the hole? 5 memberships, and we'll say goodbye to Bobby.
Yeah, I'll go in the hole anyway. Goodbye, Jake.
That's it. You're done? Wow. Havmo says Beast broke Bobby. Unreal. Italian Stallion, pretty gross of Bobby. Yeah, this is a stunning turn of events. Stunning turn of events. This is what happens when you let Bobby become friends with Alan, though. It all goes back to that. It all goes back to that. DD, Bobby don't want that smoke. Jay, Bobby can't take Beast's side. Mo, I'm disappointed. Well, guess what? Beast Breaker has won over one of the OG Asmaniacs. He has done it. Think about that. Bobby Midnight is on the Beast Breaker side. This is like when Hulk Hogan joined NWO. Ladies and gentlemen, we get Beast Breaker's reaction right now.
Beast Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he's gonna go.
I love that song. That's a hit. I wish they wrote that song in the 60s, but hey, that's a great hit. Oh, to everybody, hey, leave Bobby alone. Let that man be. I like that man. He's had enough problems. Leave him alone. He's his own man. He's his own identity. Let the man be. Okay? I love the guy. Now you guys out here quit crying and quit trying to act like suck it up. If you can't do it, get out of here. I love that man. He has more respect than anybody else on this planet. And I love that guy. That's it. Bottom line, nothing said. He did not turn heel. To all you guys out here who are crying and whining and complaining, you all need to go back to school and get hooked on phonics. You know what that meant? Yeah, go get a book and read. Bobby Midnight is a great guy. He's trying to get a job at Burger King. Now leave the man alone and let him have his peace. Just like me. I'm moving and I'm doing my own things. We're all doing our own things. Jake's got his own thing. I got my own thing. Bobby's got his own thing. Everybody's got their own thing. Okay? Let that man be. If not, I'll come after you guys myself because I love Bobby. He's a good guy. He's respected and he's honest. And he's doing his thing like everybody else. So enough said. That's all. I'm done here. Now I'm about to go do my own thing and get the train rolling. Get the train rolling. Like they said, you all don't remember Soul Train. Gotta get the Soul Train rolling. You know what time it is? It's time to get the train rolling. We gotta go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beast Breaker.
You know what time it is? A Beast Breaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Incredible. Jay wrote, this is like Revis going to the Patriots. How about it? Bobby Midnight turning, in the eyes of the chat, heel. Wow. What a show. I'm back in a few hours. I got to run. Thank you to all who tuned in. We will get to all your calls. We'll have more on Aaron Glenn in the afternoon stream. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to Dom C, who joined us for the first hour talking about Glenn. I'll have more thoughts on what an Aaron Glenn coaching staff will look like this afternoon. I'm going to do a lot of digging and asking on that. So we'll come back with more info on what a potential Glenn staff might look like. Thank you all for your support. Big fella at the buzzer. Fighting has to stop. We should all get along. We should. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. Thank you again for your support. In honor of Big Fella and Gary, two of the stars of today's show, I end today's show with this.
And I just saw a Big Fella's tweet. So I'm 5'11", 180 pounds, and I wear a large. And you're telling me he's got me by 100 pounds, and he only wears an extra large?
Gary, why the fuck what do you care about what the fuck I'm wearing, bro?
I've got to look. I'm a man of logic and reason. I'm 5'11", 180. I wear a large. You're 6'5".
Why does this guy care about what I'm wearing? It makes no sense. Why do you care? Why
You
do
don't
you
watch
care?
Curb Your Enthusiasm and someone says something like suspicious to Larry to kind of give him that look like, okay.
How is this suspicious, bro? What are you talking
about? 280. That's a big fella.
Dude, if I wore a 2X, it would be baggy on me because my body is different. Okay, not everybody's built the same.
I understand, but if you're 6'4", 280, that ain't all in your legs, bro. 6'4", 280 is a big boy.
I don't know why you give a shit what I look like. You got me a little upset right now, man.
I didn't mean to get you upset, big fella.
Gary, why do you make fun of Big Fella and his shirt? Maybe you're a weird person, a weird guy. A wiggle, beagle, beagle, deagle, deagle, beagle, deagle, deagle.
Calm your freaky down.